One last time. One last time.
Greg, I'm going to start with you.
Listen, everybody. Bad Boys in review. When do you think you last saw this show? If you're like me, you're probably like, oh, it was one of the pandemic episodes we did. No, it turns out we had done this well before the pandemic, all right? So did we know P. Diddy was going to be a horrible fucking person? No. Did we know that all the in-review intros should start with the same song done differently and an amazing thing? No. It's just what it was at the time, all right? We're sorry. We didn't know. We don't think there was Ragu Bagu.
There wasn't.
Josh McCooley used to call in.
Are you kidding me? That's how early this was?
No. Hold
this
on.
is a time capsule.
I need to let everyone know. Andy, it's not that it was too early for Ragu Bagu, because Ragu Bagu was like an OG type situation.
Yeah, we did that on MCU.
It's just we didn't do Ragu Bagu. We did Rad Boys Talk Bad Boys.
Get it right.
But I don't think we even listed like things, right? We didn't like.
We
Rabu Tabu.
ranked Martin and Will in this.
In the movies?
Of like, how bad boys are they?
Oh, I love that. Like, how bad can the boys be?
This is such an old in review without a new iteration that I haven't made a run of show for it. Because like in modern times, and modern meaning the last fucking 5 years, it feels like I have a new.
They follow
thing.
a structure.
We're all here, whatever. Like Andy, we don't even have a front screen for this because like we thought we might have had it, but we don't. We just don't. So this is a weird one for us for sure. But going back and looking at it all, I was like, oh man, I need to listen to the last couple episodes to see what our thoughts were on the franchise and where we actually, what dumb bits did we have? What do I need to put here? So yeah, we have Rad Boys Talk Bad Boys. We have our rankings, of course. But what blew me away the most, having to go back and look at these episodes, is the view count of the episodes of Bad Boys in review, which of course you are watching right now. Bad Boys,
and to paraphrase Kesha, fuck P. Diddy. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
that
exactly.
Too, that's it.
Actually, that's like a direct quote from when she was at Coachella or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes. But looking back at Bad Boys for Life, which is the third movie in this franchise, this is the fourth. The third was called Bad Boys for Life. I'm sure we'll talk about that more later. That has 300,000 views.
And again, this is the power of COVID, where what happened is we put these shows out and they did what they do. Then everyone got locked inside and they said, I need to catch up on Bad Boys. And then they said, this is a Greek tragedy. And I need someone to break this down. And only the way Greg Miller and Nick Scarpino, the assholes, can break it down. You know what I'm saying?
Spilled a lot of beer
and
there.
I just want you to know. I just want you all to know, all right? This is like going backwards in time. Barry, give me another beer. This is like you are going back. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people watch things and they're like, man, Greg hasn't lost a step.
No.
Still the best performer on the internet outside of OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. I know my own game. You know what I mean? And I know that I've become soft and refined. I've let Andy put me into the PC box.
If you're listening to this, you did not accidentally switch down to 0.75 speed.
When I slow it down that much, that's very much like I don't know where I'm going yet. I'm figuring it out as I go. But I'm saying you're going to see a return to form for me in the ass.
I mean, I got real worried when you were like, this is a Greek. And I was like, what is it? What a Greek what?
Listen, guys, we're going to have a great time here today, all right?
This interview is special because it has been so long in the making, to the point that we had to go back and look at the old ones, and we were trying to answer a lot of questions. Who's on the show? Like, who is the cast of this in review? I would
have lost the house thinking Makuga actually was in the room for it.
He was only sending in video messages, and that was another thing that, like, we should have realized earlier than we did. He did not do it for this, and that is my bad.
He hasn't seen the show.
I take that.
He hasn't seen the show.
He hasn't seen the movie. He has not seen the movie.
Fantastic comment from Michael. Says, this feels Mandela effect-y. You're so right.
Yes, every aspect of it. Because on top of that, why did the last one get 300,000 views for us? That makes no sense.
I already said that.
The other two didn't. The other two just simply didn't. So it's like, what
they do?
What happened?
50,000?
But what happened to those other two? We looked back to see who's on the show, and what did we discover? It was like, oh, Greg and Nick were both wearing the outfits of course, our boys. the bad boys, the titular bad boys.
Mike Lowry, Marcus Burnett.
And then we watched the other episode and they're wearing different outfits. And we're like, what's going on here? Why did they switch? And then we realized they actually switched in the episode.
Yeah.
There is a lore to the Bad Boys in Review that I feel like everybody needs to experience the way we did, which is just go back and click around and figure out what happened. Because, here we have this, right? And at some point it becomes a bit that Greg's wearing. Yeah, here we go. Greg's wearing the glasses and he keeps taking them off and his eyes are always closed. Like Greg never takes his glasses off.
This is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? We weren't afraid to try things, Andy. You know, we do 7 beers and come out here and talk about Bad Boys. Now I'm fucking mocked for getting wasted. What does it matter? Barrett, where's my beer?
Where's this beer?
I need the recap juice.
bigger
You want
boy.
one? Legit?
Yeah, I need a
He
recap
needs
juice.
a recap juice.
Do we have beer?
I don't know.
But anyway,
Tell
here we
Cool
go.
Greg, he'll get me one.
Here we go. It's there's a lot going on in these
I'm
episodes. that
getting loose, Andy. Get loose. It's Memorial Day.
I just spent the last 30 minutes listening to Bad Boys in Review. And I'm like, there's some gold here. There's also a lot of other things, but there is some gold that I recommend everybody watch. We're going very long on this intro, but all of this is important to note that we're trying our best here. Okay?
When we watched this, we were watching it back to like kind of figure out what some of the bits were, and when we came back from break, it was like we were watching our content for the first time. We were like, "What? Why is it?" And we're like, "Oh, they switched costumes."
Yeah.
There was this giant spike in the views of like, why?
Also, this is how old it is. Look at that Coke Zero can. Where it was like mainly black and
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
I also wonder if Bad Boys 3, Tim, the reason why it has so many views is because we put it out week of the movie coming out, and it's probably an hour, 32-hour episode,
people
right?
think it's Bad
and
Boys
people
3.
think that it's like an upload to YouTube of the movie.
But they stuck around.
But it's probably the
They
same
showed up.
reason why we get 1 billion views on the Fast and Furious videos too. Like, people
There's
just
something
click.
about those franchises
Yeah.
that it just makes sense that they're there for it. I don't know, but either way, I'm very happy because watching Bad Boys 3's in review, it starts off with us being like, they're not making another one of these. This is the last Bad Boys in review. And here we are, everybody. Not because of the quality of the movie, but just because of, like, it doesn't seem like we're going to get more of this franchise.
We didn't think
you
Mark
know?
Lawrence was going to make it.
There is that factor as well. Whatever. This is in review. Every week we rank, review, and recap different movie
I
franchises.
didn't want to laugh, but I just we didn't think Michael Lord was gonna make it.
Because I knew it was there. I saw you. You're like, do I bite? Do I bite? And I was like, bite. Go ahead. Light his ass up. We're the assholes.
Oh my god, I'm having a great time watching you three. This is perfect.
Oh man, we're here, everyone. It's great. In review, we do these things. It's awesome. Okay, next week there will not be an in review because it's summer.
We doing a ding, huh?
I'm so thrown off right now. I'm trying,
Why hasn't done in review since the last Bad Boys? Hey, you know, we making a show.
Would it be easier or harder if someone just came out and hit you with a stick right now? Like, we're making this so hard on you.
This is going to be great, okay? It's in review every week, except next week we do the show where we rank, review, and recap different movie franchises. You can watch it, of course, live on Patreon or YouTube if you are a Kind of Funny member, like our Patreon producers Carl Jacobs, Nathan Lamoth, Karen Lindner, Fargo Brady, Alex J. Sandoval, James Hastings, and Casey Andrew.
Wow,
we appreciate all of you so very, very much. We're brought to you by Poncle, the developers of Vampire Survivor. We'll get to all that later. Let's get into it. It's Bad Boys Ride or Die, the 4th movie in the Bad Boys franchise. With a runtime of 1 hour and 55 minutes, it will be released on June 7th, 2024. That's right. It's not actually out yet.
Wow.
It's June 6th today. We got to see this movie a couple days ago. Very lucky. We are very privileged here. Directed by Adil and Bilal, who, of course, we now know from a bunch of projects that we've at least liked, loved in some ways, whatever. But they are known for writing and directing feature films like Image, Black, and Gangsta in 2018, as well as directing both Bad Boys for Life and Bad Boys Ride or Die. And they were the kind of like showrunners, heads of Miss Marvel. They directed the first and last episodes of that show, which were
The ones we
some
liked.
of our favorites of that show. They also directed Batgirl which none of us will ever likely see.
Fuck you, WB.
No wonder that's been kind of making the Twitter rounds. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I was wondering, like, why are people comparing these movies? Is it?
That's very funny. Yeah.
What a weird comparison. Bad Boys and the unreleased Batgirl.
And they are in the running currently to be the directors for Spider-Man 4.
Ooh.
And I'm just going to say it right now. My vote is for them.
Yes.
Especially after seeing this movie. You can see it all happening. I would love to see
I heard it's down to them
that.
and Martin Scorsese, and I go them.
A lot of people in the running, but they right now are the ones that they're the talk of the town. And that was before this movie came out. Now that it came out, I feel like they're going to get the public opinion.
Okay.
Martin Scorsese, you know?
Fucking, you're not an asshole. You're the taint. But we're the assholes, but you're the taint. You're close to
You're
it.
the part that gets all the
I'm happy
bacteria
that
gets
I'm
kind of stuck
not
in.
a part of this.
You're the fucking filthy belly button. Thank you.
The part that when you get a whiff
Filthy
of it.
belly
Cool,
button.
right, yeah.
Uh,
Clean it out.
music-
Get it too. Get it.
What could be worse than the filthy belly button?
I wanted to say get a Q-tip in there, but it came out tulip.
You can put a tulip in there if you want. Whatever.
Music
What's there
done by
for?
Lauren Balfe, who we know from a whole bunch of different projects, but most recently the modern Mission Impossible movies.
Right.
So from I want to say Ghost Protocol on, it was him. So very cool. Budget
It's a
for
great
this
name
one.
to have if you are some sort of composer.
Composer, right?
You were born to do that.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Ludwig Göransson, Lauren Balfe, like, come on.
Come on.
You were meant to do, you weren't supposed to work at Costco.
Kinko's.
I think
you know?
Ludwig Göransson makes sense. Lawrence Balfe.
BLFE.
Think about that.
But I don't. Balfe.
Sounds right to me. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like when the cops catch you. Like, what's your name? Like, Lauren Balfe.
It sounds like the
Make it
sound
closer.
like your cat would make if it jumped on your piano.
Music.
Okay.
Oh, okay, sure.
Is it?
Yeah,
A budget of
I got you,
$100
and I
million,
understand.
everyone.
Excuse me, we're having a conversation.
Great.
I hope he didn't have anything to do tonight. This is gonna take 4 hours.
This one had a budget of $100 million, which
That's not bad.
I want to give a shout out to because the last movie had a budget of $90 million. And I want to let everyone know this is how you do it. This is how you do it. You find success. The last movie made $416 million. Okay. We don't know what this one's going to make. So far, things are going well. The numbers are good.
Good.
It's so early because like it hasn't come out yet, but like the pre-sales, we're looking like we have a win on our hands. And I just want to respect the fact that people are like, hey, this movie was successful. Don't double the budget. of it.
Sure.
Just add a little bit, like make it a little bigger, make it a little bit more.
A little more.
But like don't go too crazy. So shout out to y'all. Good heads on their shoulders there. Thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Columbia Pictures.
And before we even go on, I just want to say my favorite thing about this movie was the very beginning where we start getting the credits of who's going to be in it. We just see a bunch of names popping up, right? And I'm always interested in the order. Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, who's first, who's last, like all that type of stuff.
Right.
But I was most interested, and I wish that I wrote down exactly what it said. So somebody is going to be watching this and then go watch the movie. I need you to take note.
Langley M. Neely, you're in the chat right now. I assume you're going to go watch it. Go write this down for Tim when you're there.
When DJ Khaled was credited, am I wrong in saying that it said Khaled, quote, DJ Khaled, Khaled?
I didn't see it.
I didn't
I didn't
see
even
that.
see it.
Because like I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I hope that's what I
Oh,
saw.
I didn't. I the only thing I was waiting for was I was like, you have to start with the Miami sign, and of course that was like the first thing we signed. I'm like, all right, they get it.
Yeah.
they've seen this series before.
But I saw that and I was like, I really hope that that's the case. But anyways, enough about that for now. No spoilers quite yet. Okay, we're gonna give our thoughts on this spoiler free before we get into the spoilers of everything. Sorry for spoiling potentially the opening credits of this for y'all. But Nick Scarpino, what'd you think of this movie?
I had a great time watching this movie for two reasons. One, I think it's a very fun movie. I think watching Martin Lawrence and Will Smith back together is always going to warm my heart. But also, the company in which I saw this movie was all of you, Snowbike Mike, Gio was there, and hearing everyone pop off from Greg to Mike and to the audience that largely wasn't press, that was just a bunch of people who wanted to come see this movie and support it, was just a blast. I can't wait to talk more about it. But yeah, those are my short and sweet thoughts.
Andy Cortez, let's go with you. What'd you think of this?
I echo what Nick said. I wasn't expecting a whole lot from this movie. I don't know if I remember a movie that had like trailers that turned me off more, and then like immediately contrast that to how I felt during the movie. Because like when we ever get a glimpse at this trailer, I was like, this looks awful. I don't want to watch this. I'm praying that Tim just decides to like, hey, we're not doing this SGF week. Like I was just like, I don't want to watch this movie. It looks really, really terrible. And every joke they chose for the trailer was even worse somehow. And I had a really, really good time. I was pretty impressed by a lot of what the action was doing. I not all of it. I wasn't impressed by all of the humor, but like a big majority, I was having a great time with it. Whole lot of laughs. I think the movie starts off and I was like, oh, here we go. I just wasn't really feeling what Martin Lawrence is doing. And then it just picked up and I was like, oh, awesome. Great. This is the vibe they're going for. I had a really, really good time with this movie.
Andy, I am right there with you. Like, honestly, to a T. The one thing I'd add, recently, I felt the same way about trailer to movie experience with Furiosa. Seeing those trailers,
those trailers were bad.
This looks bad.
I remember you calling me over to your desk to be like, watch this Furiosa trailer with me. This is bad, right?
This is, am I crazy? Like, this is fucking bad. And seeing the Bad Boys trailer for the first time in theaters, like, it was one of the rare times that we didn't react to the trailer because we were too busy. And I forget what movie we were watching, but like, we ended up seeing the Bad Boys Ride or Die trailer in theaters, and I was like, oh no, like. Every joke didn't hit. All the beats they were doing, I was like, this is going to be a travesty.
Sing us a song. Bad boys, bad boys. I was like, no, this is terrible, dude. What are you doing?
It's like the opposite of what Marvel does, where Marvel puts all the great moments in, that kind of spoils it for when you go and see it. They were like, what if we used all the bad jokes so that when you actually saw the movie, all the bad jokes are still in it, but the good jokes actually hit, and it kind of worked.
For me, it wasn't even that. It was context. Seeing Martin Lawrence, giving him that, like, the little bit of room on the beginning and end of the jokes made all the difference. Just like, and also the direction of this movie, I am obsessed with. The style that this has. It's not Michael Bay. It is very much, I always forget their names here, but it is Adil and Bilal. They're so stylish and push things forward. They want their own unique vision, and like, you see it in Miss Marvel, and it's all over this movie of like, we're gonna use cameras practically and we're gonna add digital effects to like create something that we haven't seen on film before. And this movie, from the very beginning, of Martin Lawrence pulling up his watch and you see a camera shot like through his watch, it's like,
that was cool.
Oh, you're having fun.
Yeah.
And that led into one of the bad lines from the trailers, but because there was style leading into it, it kind of creates this like surreal world that they're in, that I'm like, oh, I buy into this as the type of comedy that worked in 2004 that would not work in 2024, but it ups it just enough that I'm like, oh, this works again. So yeah, I was incredibly impressed with this, entertained throughout. I feel like it is such a love letter to the Bad Boys franchise, a franchise that I don't really hold that high. Like, it's I definitely like the more modern ones more than I like the original ones, and I think that they treat the original ones with so much respect that I like them more, having watched this movie. So yeah, this is a major win for me. I don't know that people need to run out and watch it in theaters.
Yeah, I'm kind of there. Yeah,
but like, it was I had nothing but fun watching this.
I would say if you're a fan of the franchise and you've kind of been on the fence, absolutely go see it. Like, if you care about this franchise at all, definitely go watch it. I wouldn't say, like, for someone like me who doesn't really have, like, we watched all of these and I didn't love them, right? But I had a really, really good time with it. So if you enjoy this franchise, definitely go watch it.
Craig Miller.
Thanks for trying to bury me. Put me at the end. You guys heap all the praise on it and leave it for me, the guy who doesn't like action films, to come in here, all right? Bad Boys 4 can be summed up in 4 words. Best Bad Boys ever.
Wow.
I would say run, don't walk to your local cinema, all right? Y'all tried to get duped into go seeing Furiosa, all right? Oh, the numbers are bad. What's wrong with you, audience? It's on you, audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People should...
Oh, you're not interested in this old-ass franchise nobody ever cared about? It's on you, audience. You don't like cinema. This is cinema, ladies and gentlemen. Don't fucking start. Ghostbusters did fine. Ghostbusters did it. Ghostbusters broke the $200 million mark. We're fine. Everything's fine. This movie's great. A
lot of laughs.
Lots of laughs. Going into it, we had that conversation right before we went. The day ended, and I was very much like, "Oh, I'm not looking forward to this." And you were like, "Why?" And I'm like, I remember not liking the last one, and it's the whole thing of like, well, I'm not an action guy, and I'm still burning out on Fast and Furious, where that was like, I got to get off some of these interviews. Like, I'm not enjoying that kind of thing anymore. And so that kind of colored what I thought of Bad Boys, or what I think I thought of Bad Boys. And so like
the third one, I think you opened it with a very similar thing of best Bad Boys ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what I like this one about, it's evolution, obviously, the franchise and what they're doing and getting away from just being the action movie of the mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, right? This one I appreciate more than the last, because at this point we didn't introduce a whole bunch of characters, and I feel it kind of waste time on them. I thought with Bad Boys 3, it felt in a lot of ways like, okay, cool, we're giving you Selena Gomez. Vanessa Hudgens. We're giving you this guy. And it kind of felt like, are you trying to build a Bad Boys universe to go like pass the baton and go on? Like, I don't care about them. I care about Marcus and Mike, right? And then this movie felt like such a Marcus and Mike story, right? And everybody added to it rather than kind of doing their own shit. Loved it. Really great fun action. Really great jokes. Really great cinematography, like you're talking about.
When they doubled down on just have Martin Lawrence annoy Will Smith, that creates comedy gold. When Martin Lawrence is saying some stuff that makes Will Smith roll his eyes or correct him in a way, like it's such an easy win for them, and they do it a lot, and every time it worked for me in this movie.
And with that, I feel like a big criticism we all had about 3 was Martin Lawrence just doesn't have the stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And they lean into that and make that kind of the point and thesis of this movie that I think makes it so much better. Like it allowed us to like put aside our like, I don't believe in this. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, we're all on the same page now. The people making this movie are thinking of it the way we are. And Martin and Will were having so much fun the entire time.
To be fair, I'm sorry.
Go for it.
I interrupted your thought there. To be fair, I think Martin Lawrence was way better in this movie than he was in the last movie. And I don't know what the difference was. Maybe it was direction. Maybe he just felt better on the day. But I do think his timing was way better in this. But I also don't want to say that this movie is like every beat of comedy was perfect, as we opened up with.
God, it was.
There is a lot of stuff in here that should have just been absolutely cut out. And I don't know why they left half of the comedy in there. Obviously, it's subjective. Someone in the editing room thought that's funny. But there's a lot of stuff in here where there were scenes that were supposed to be super emotional. There were beats of comedy where I'm like, I just wish you cut this down a little bit, because those two are better when it's almost jump cutty. And that was the one thing that I appreciated, was that they went back and they did that original style from Bad Boys, which I think was not necessarily a style, more of they have nothing really, so they cut together everything good, and the movie itself felt jump cutty, but that has become the style of Bad Boys. And then there's scenes with the family that just go on forever, and you're like, we need to cut this down. This is not even the original family, you know? Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I mean, you're making a lot of good points. Like, to be clear, I love this for what it is, because it could have been so much worse. Like, I don't love it because it's actually amazing or anything. It's like, I'm
coming into this just extremely shocked that I really, really enjoyed it.
And to the point that like I do want to give it praise, like even more than that. I'm like, I think this is actually like a very fun time. But like, yeah, it is far from perfect. It's not just, it's good because it's not a disappointment. It's like, it's legitimately like a fun time. Yeah. But like they try to do a couple things that we'll get into later that like they just don't commit to enough. Like they set up, I feel like half the characters are well developed, and then half of the characters they're like, oh fuck, we got to give them something to do too. Here it is. Didn't do that great.
Mom and the granddaughter, and the granddaughter's played by a 35-year-old woman, but like, well, here we go.
A lot of weird things.
Hey, Rhea Seehorn,
yeah,
the goat.
I love
Kim
Rhea
Wexler.
Seehorn.
Everybody,
from
Better Call Saul,
Franklin and Bash. That's right.
That's right.
Better Call Saul is where she was nominated for.
That's where I first saw her, Franklin and Bash.
But man, like when she's on when she's in the scenes, I'm like, oh yeah, she's a league above everybody. Like,
which is a bummer, because you think to yourself, oh, you got her, who's a very high caliber actor, and you don't put her on the squad. Like she just gets to be there, kind of the beginning, middle, and end. And I mean, granted, yeah, the daughter was there, and that was the whole cusp of like the redemption arc.
I mean,
we're spoiling things now.
Man, what was wild was like I was just kind of shocked that that those kind of moments did hit for me and everything. I was like, wow. While it's being developed, I'm like, this is not going to pan out in a way where I feel satisfied whatsoever. And by the end of it, I was like, not bad. That was pretty decent.
Yeah,
that was pretty decent.
For sure.
I think that's Tim's point too, right? It's like, this is not a great movie. It is a fun movie. And that is all you really can expect or want from a Bad Boys film.
And exactly, but I almost feel like that's belittling it though.
Yeah,
I think that's accurate.
Look,
I think
This is fun. Like the best of a Fast and Furious movie is fun, whereas there are heartfelt moments. But for the most part, when you look at moment to moment, you're like, a lot of the acting's bad. A lot of the only thing that's really there is the action sequences are really fun and the banter is really fun. But the plot is like absurdly dumb.
But that's the thing, though. I feel like there's a lot of great in the movie. I don't think it combines to make a great movie when you're comparing it to other great movies.
Sure.
But I feel like they're like, I don't want to just write this off as like,
I give it a 7 out of 10 on the kind of
something like that. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this
But
is
7 out of 10 largely because it's a fun factor, not because like you contrast that with Furiosa, where you're like, okay, there's a lot more meat on that, but that's an actual real good
Box
movie.
office.
Well, that's different. I mean, that's entirely different. But like, I think even comparing this like a Fast and Furious movie, like I put this up and like, oh, this is one of the good Fast and Furious movies. Not one of the best Fast and Furious movies, but also so far from one of the worst Fast and Furious movies. Like, I don't know. Like, there's differences there.
They succeeded in making me laugh way more than I cringed.
Yes.
And that's my thing,
And
too.
I was really worried about
And
the
the
humor
action
going into
got
this.
pop off moments. And the comedy even, too. And I just want to say this, like, none of us are black dudes. And I feel like this movie is very much a cultural experience that, like, for that we just don't relate to in that way. You know what I mean? And the people around us that were a predominantly black audience, they were incredibly into it. And I feel like that is something about the Bad Boys overall that like I appreciate that this movie, I feel like, lived up to the expectations in that way. So
I think that's why I was so disappointed with parts 1 and 2, because I didn't really fully watch a lot of them. I knew the references, but like I was excited for the interview initially because I was like, man, I love Blue Streak.
We're about to
I
learn.
love old school Will Smith stuff, and like Blue Streak and Martin Lawrence is like one of my favorite comedy movies. This is going to be a great time. And that's why I was like really disappointed by what 1 and 2 brought. And then part 3, I think we all watched part 3. And I at least was similar to you, Tim, where I'm like, I kind of like this version of what they're doing a little bit more. Cause like what they were doing over there just didn't quite work for me. Maybe it was all nostalgia. You kind of had to be there in the moment. But this movie just really worked for me quite a bit.
Can I interject real quick? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Earlier in the show, I gave Langley M. Neely a task. And that was to go to the cinema and see DJ Khaled's Name for Tim Geddes.
Yeah, he's still in the
Langley has said in the chat, sorry, I'm the wrong person to single out because I'm not seeing this one. That's really why I'm here now. How could you fucking fail me like this, Langley? All right, here's what you're going to do.
Think about what you've done lately.
Email me your Venmo. All right. Email me the little QR code.
Yep.
And then when I get back to my computer, I'll take a photo of that, and I will Venmo you $7 to go see this at a matinee like I saw Garfield. A better movie than Furiosa.
7? Did you see it in someone's living room? $7.
Hey, well, you go see a 12:45 Tuesday show. It's pretty cheap.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Me and Tim have been talking about.
Send it to me too,
finagling
Langley.
the
I'll
workday.
throw in $5 in there so you can get a little Dippin' Dots or something. You know?
You're gonna have a great time,
Yeah.
Langley. But we're all gonna have a great time after a word from our sponsors.
This episode of Kinda Funny is brought to you by Punkle, the developers behind Vampire Survivors. Did you know that Vampire Survivors is out on just about everything? That's right, you can play it this very second on PC, Xbox, Switch, and mobile. And if that wasn't enough, it's coming to PlayStation this summer with a Platinum Trophy, and I just so happen to be stoked. Why? Because it's awesome! Vampire Survivors is a gothic horror casual game with roguelike elements where your choices can allow you to quickly snowball against the hundreds of monsters that get thrown at you. Mow down thousands of night creatures and survive until dawn. Pick your character, spend your gold on power-ups, and get to being the bullet hell in the game that features absolutely zero vampires. Punkle even just released the new DLC Operation Guns featuring the classic and timeless Konami IP, Contra. We've been talking about this game for years, so there's no reason not to support it now. It's as affordable as a cup of coffee. Get Vampire Survivors on your platform of choice this very second, and thank Punkle for sponsoring Kinda Funny.
Eddie.
Hey, Nick, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Say the plot for you. I don't remember a plot song in this game.
We probably didn't have one yet.
it.
That's probably Bad
okay.
Boys.
Man giving a break. Soldier man. Okay, go ahead.
I just realized I replaced the Bad Boys in the song with, like, the only tie to Bad Boys was like I replaced that with Hey Nick. Probably should have left the bad boys in there.
We knew.
Probably should have left the words in there.
It's what you got to do,
Yeah.
Andy, to get through the day. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bad Boys, not for life. Bad Boys Ride or Die. Which, if you guys want to go online and sign the petition to change the name of these
Let's just
movies,
swap them.
I will let you know as soon as I put that live. We start off Miami sign, beach, all sorts of cool stuff. I enjoy seeing it. The one thing I will say is visually, I do miss the sort of grainy, kind of dirty, almost sweaty visuals of the first two
So
Bad Boys.
sweaty.
In this one, it's very clean. Obviously, this is a modern movie. It was made 30 years later or whatever, so no fault to that. But there is a quality of this movie that's a little bit more PG than the original ones, and I kind of missed that. I'll just say it. There's not enough cocaine in this movie.
There's a lot of swear words.
Yeah, like I don't know
I
if
know.
PG is the right word, but I get what you're
PG-13.
like.
Well, you know what I mean? It's like the difference.
It's not Michael Bay. Like,
This is gonna be a weird kind of call out because you guys haven't
Tiffany
seen this.
Haddish said,
Any of these
"Lick
movies?
my pussy."
That was pretty great. And Haddish was great in this. But I will say
full spoiler
again.
obviously, by the way, from here on
Oh
out.
yeah, tap your head. I will say, like, to me, it's, and I think I brought this up on the first Bad Boys, and I always use this sort of analog or analogy rather whenever I talk to movies that were made that were classics, and then they make one way later. It's the Beverly Hills Cop syndrome, where you get Tony Scott doing Beverly Hills Cop 2, and every scene is gritty and smoky, and it's when Eddie Murphy was at his best, and then you get Beverly Hills Cop 3, where they're like, let's make it PG-13, and it's like that just doesn't work. You get some of that in this, but I think largely, and kudos to the team, they did capture the chemistry of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, specifically in this first scene. We catch up with them. They're in the badass Porsche 911 Turbo S, just the baddest thing possible with those, like, Tim, those gold wheels.
It is insane.
What are we
saying?
Doing, and they're in tuxedos,
Well,
and Martin Lawrence is like,
real
I need a ginger ale.
Was Bad Boys for Life Part 3, was that PG-13?
No, I think they're all are.
They're all okay.
If
This one,
memory
I
serves
just,
correctly.
while watching this, I was like, wow, I'm surprised there's this many swear words. I just didn't remember Part 3 like having
some
a whole lot of
violence, too, in
having a whole
those.
lot of fucks.
Now,
here and there.
real quick, Nick, I want to before we get too long on this. Beverly Hills Cop, a funny thing, it ended up not happening, but the directing team of this was going to make Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Oh, they're gonna make Axel F or
They ended
whatever
up
it is
not.
now. Oh, okay.
Like, things happened. Maybe it was this, maybe it was something else. But it's funny you bring that up as an analog there.
It's still coming out, by the way.
No, I know it's coming out, but yeah, they're not directing it though. But
IGN Live got the whole.
Oh, great.
yes, they
Got the
do.
thing.
One thing I want to say is I totally get what you're saying, and Michael, like these are not Michael Bay movies, like very different style. But I don't think. Sorry, not that I don't think. I know that these movies aren't just, they're modern movies. There is a style to them that I appreciate from these directors, and it is the skyline shots. Every single time we get one, they do something I've never seen in any other movie, which is have weird time-lapse play that can't be physically possible, where there'll be like a helicopter shot that is like slow-mo going around the city, but the
Clouds are moving
clouds
fast.
are in time-lapse, or the cars are in time-lapse, but everything else is like normal speed. They did so many creative choices with that I feel create a visual identity. And to me, just having that identity, that's Bad Boys. That is, we're showing Miami in like a unique way that you're not
Stylish.
going to see in any other movie. And it's different than the Michael Bay style, but I appreciate that there was a style. And I don't expect to see this in any other movie.
See, for me, it felt like the first two were all shot in Miami, and this one was like, we're going to shoot exteriors, but for the rest of the time, we're just in anywhere, any city, America, where we're not shooting at sundown every single shot. We're not bathing every single shot with neon light. We're not going to club hell for no reason with just strobe lights that are probably causing people to see.
Joe
you know?
Bentley in the chat says Michael Bay would have filmed the entire movie in Miami and not Atlanta. So I'm assuming this was filmed in Atlanta.
That makes a lot of sense, and that kind of, and again, I'm very sensitive to these things because I just love the visuals of the original. Because let's be perfectly honest, the visuals and the dynamic between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith are all the originals have, because their plot lines are incoherent. And specifically, I remember leaving this being like, midway through this movie, I remember thinking, man, this is just a hodgepodge smorgasbord of like slapsticky stuff and violence and swear words and all this stuff. And I'm
And it
like, this
works.
doesn't feel like Bad Boys. And then I walked out and I was like, no, the first two Bad Boys were just exactly that. They were just ridiculous and kind of daffy in parts, just kind of everything at the kitchen sink. Anyway, I digress. Getting off topic. We kick this scene up and Mike's whipping the car around. They're in tuxedos. They're going to a wedding. We think maybe it's going to be one of their kids. We don't know. And Martin Lawrence is getting sick. He's like, I got to stop off for some ginger ale. And we get a awesome callback to the tropical fruit bubblicious and some Skittles moment, which I thought this was the first indication to me, this sequence in the liquor store. I was like, they got something here. Because the timing was good. The comedy was good. The cashier was great.
And
I
again,
thought
the
I thought
cinematography
scenes
did
worked.
so much for it, of the wash for sure, but also the hot dog thing of him and his nose, like
Yeah.
how, and then the joke that followed up, are those fresh? I put them on yesterday. Give me that one. No,
I don't think it was until that line that everything kind of started going for me, because when they're in the car, and Martin Lawrence is like, I'm gonna be sick. I'm not feeling good. I'm like, we're starting off and it just feels like you're grasping for whatever can make the audience laugh right here. Just have Martin Lawrence act like he's gonna vomit or whatever, and then he goes in there. I want some Skittles. I'm like, oh god, we're doing the callback. You have to do Skittles. I get it, but this is just like, is it working for me? As soon as the hot dog thing, when did you put these on here? How fresh are these? Put them on yesterday. Awesome. That's where it starts kind of working for me a little bit more. And then Will Smith walking in and being like, and Will Smith does this great reaction.
I mean, no, but even before then, I thought, right, where it is the holdup, which you knew was probably about to happen.
Oh, which you hope
the
would
holdup
happen. I'm like, I
happens,
hope he's getting
and then
held up here.
immediately for Marcus, not even to be the cop, then he's like, sir, there's a man outside who is surly. Like, can we please not?
That's
and he
it.
comes in, and he does the disappointing wife/dad, like, Marcus, what is are those Skittles? Like, ignoring the whole law
The
enforcement
guy's like,
part.
don't. He's like, if you move, I'll shoot you. He goes, Marcus, get in the car. And it's like, I gotta go. Yeah, I agree with this. I think I'm with Andy too. Where it's like, obviously, like, look, it's easy to watch a movie and be like, they should have cut this, should have cut that. But I think the car stuff, we needed to set these characters up for people who probably don't necessarily know who they are. So we needed a little witty back and forth to tell the audience this is what the movie's going to be. Having said that, as a person who's a huge fan of these, I wish the car had just pulled up and he got out sick and it just started in the liquor store, because I don't think that humor helped the film, and I don't think it helps people's attention when you're going into the film. And I think that you see spots of
That's a
that
very
here
good
and there.
call.
I was
Yeah.
already worried in that moment when they're
Yeah.
driving around.
No, when they were driving, it was like, oh, it's the trailers. This is
Yeah.
the movie of the trailers we watched. But then they just, the context of it all proved me wrong. But you're right. Them getting out of the car, I think would have worked
I
really
think it would
well.
be fun.
And also those aren't mine. Those are his.
yeah, the cashier just selling them out on every conversation.
From here, we get an awesome bit of, and again, to your point, Tim, the directors, the way they direct action here was, what I appreciate about them is they have subtleties when it's subtle and quickness when it needs to be. So there's a moment here where the gun goes up and Will draws on him real quick and shoots him in the leg. And it's very fast. There's no lamenting. There's no seeing the close-up of the gun. It's just bam, right? So stuff like that where I'm like, that was a perfect way to get across that kind of violent but funny moment. That was great. And then they just leave. He's like, whatever, just call the cops. We're going to leave. We got to go to a wedding. The wedding, of course, is Will Smith.
Mike Lowry's getting married.
Finally settling down to Christine, I want to say is her name. And she's British.
Saga Anderson from Alan Wake 2.
I don't remember anything from the last three movies, with rare exceptions.
New.
Okay, thank you.
I think a
Yeah.
brand new person, right?
She was his therapist, physical therapist. I was like, is this from something I should remember? I don't remember this.
No, I think they're just doing a lot of
Cool.
backstory
Thank
stuff
you.
here. I think it works kind of ish. And
No,
I
just
think,
fine. I'm fine with it.
you know,
I
we
wasn't
get-
lost. I didn't care.
We get the sundown shot of them committing to each other. They're getting married, and then we go to the reception, and they have just a great picture of Captain Howard, who's dead.
Oh,
and this is
love
the.
so
it.
big.
Loved it.
I'm gonna tell you this
Never
right now,
forget
guys. You all know I'm going before you guys.
Yeah.
right? We all know that I'm advanced in age. If you,
You
ever
said I was
Listen,
going
I'll
at like age 50.
I'll stop you right
53.
here. I'll stop you right here. All right. I've already bought, printed, and framed the photo for Tim's wedding just in case.
perfect.
If you don't make it to the end of
That's
the month,
good.
I just want
Now,
to
can I ask you this question?
Yeah.
Does it have incredible aviators like he had in
No.
this? Because for whatever reason, they had a picture of him
Well, they
wearing
had to.
sunglasses.
He's the cop guy.
If you want to look at it, know he was.
You
a
don't
cop.
got that one picture, like you don't have the picture of him in his dress blues, where he's like, you know what I mean? They got the picture
That
of,
was
like,
never
from the
Cap's
barbecue.
style. That was
Yeah.
never Cap's style.
Martin Lawrence gets up and he gives a great speech, which is
Arguable.
kind of bad, and then
Well, I just
then
love that
gets good.
I love that he's immediately crying and Will's like, no, don't
My
cry.
sister, you could have told me what you needed. I was like, that's funny.
Would have been nice to get a cameo from Gabrielle Union on this, but it's too much to
Yeah, a
ask
little
for.
weird.
Like, why wouldn't? I guess she wouldn't go to his wedding because it's not her brother's wedding; it's Marcus'
But I
wedding.
mean, come
still.
on.
Would have been nice to get a couple more cameos. We get the Fletcher cameo later.
We get
Invite all
some.
his
I mean,
ex-girlfriends.
cameo stretching, but like, I feel like this movie delivers potentially the greatest payoff of a side character we
100%.
might have ever
Let's
seen.
fucking go.
Oh my God! Yes, I forgot about that. Yes, we're gonna get that in a second. Then, of course, out of nowhere, we're partying, we're having a great time. We've already set up that Martin Lawrence shouldn't be eating or drinking any of this stuff because he's had heart issues or whatever. He, of course, has a heart attack.
He's just laying out there,
Tommy boy.
partying. Yeah.
I
The Tommy Boy moment.
Yep.
I don't love the cheesiness and ridiculousness of the spirit zone that we go to.
Dude, that if you might, or you talk about, being around all of us watching. When we got to heaven and Cap was on the beach with the bird, you heard me audibly go, yes. I was like, I'm so in now. Fuck yeah, we're going to Captain Heaven.
Not the time.
This is the one thing where I'm like, okay, this is definitely a break with the style of, not that Bad Boys were always grounded, but they had their own rules. Like we weren't going to spirit realms ever. We weren't doing these things. But again, eventually it works, and there is a payoff for it later.
When you play one of the first cutscenes you see in the new Destiny 2 DLC, reminds me of this because whenever you're doing something having to do with humanity and life, you always have to show grass quickly growing out of the ground, and that when Martin Lawrence dies, it's lightning, it's kids running in a park, grass time lapse growing out of the ground. A flower, a sun moving, a lion eating a gazelle. You always have to do this is what life in existence is. And I was like, wow, this is really abstract for a Bad Boys movie.
It was like, it's weird because I'm with you, Nick, of this is not Bad Boys at all. I am so happy it's what Bad Boys is now. I am so into this. Them doing it was ridiculous. And even when it comes back later, I feel like that might have lessened its impact personally, but also enhanced it because the just parrot being there, it's just so stupid. It's so funny to me of they're just leaning all in. And Bad Boys 4 is the Fast Five of these movies in the sense that I saw Eric Goldman tweeting this. Essentially, they finally understand, we know what we got with this franchise. Let's lean into the things that work. Just give them what they want and be ridiculous with this. I don't think it's as good as Fast Five, but man, I feel like this is as good as a Bad Boys chemistry movie can be. And this moment to me was let's just surely have fun.
I hear you. It's just one of those things where I wish another example of this movie. I'm like, we're in this scene too long. We don't need to have him walking through this realm. It could have been just a quick shot of the captain, the tree, him whispering into the ear, and then we're back into the hospital.
Sorry, the major point of what I was trying to say, the captain. The captain being dead was the biggest bummer going into this. He's the best character in these freaking movies.
But again, back to what we're talking about, I like that they got themselves out of the jam they put themselves in. Where again, we all watched Bad Boys for Life #3, and we're like, "Oh, this is the end of this.
Yeah,
they're never coming back."
Because
let's do another one. You're like, "Fuck!" And we need
and that's
him.
it. Yeah.
So when I saw the image, I was like, "Fuck!" And then they brought him back, and they had him.
And that's the thing.
Joey
the
Pants.
dumbass excuse to bring him back. I was like, "This is so fucking stupid," but it's giving me what I want, and it's great. And then the plot of the rest of the movie of he's leaving video messages from the dead. Yes, come on, man.
I love that, and I love the. Have you guys ever seen SWAT? The movie SWAT with Colin Farrell, Samuel L. Jackson.
Remember, there's a one part where they're interrogating him, and they come back in, and they toss the girl's pants at him, she peed her pants, and he's like, "I'll tell you everything." And they open up the thing, and it was in a classroom the entire time.
That was not SWAT. That was a movie about the CIA that he was in. Remember?
Oh shit! What was SWAT?
Movie where he was a SWAT guy. Yeah,
they didn't pee their pants. In
no,
SWAT?
I don't think so.
Oh shit! Is that what LL Cool J?
LL Cool J wasn't SWAT, as was Jeremy Renner was the bad guy in SWAT.
Okay.
Remember they started SWAT guys together, and then Jeremy Renner breaks the rules.
Did you ever see
and he
that
gets
one where
kicked out?
Jeremy Renner was in it with Ben Affleck, and he comes back, and he's like, "We got to go do a bunch of horrible stuff," and then Jeremy Renner is like, "We're taking your car, mine." Everybody's like, "That's friendship." I'm like, "That's fucked up."
After his accident, he started running again. We call him Jeremy Runner.
And, he just put out an album too.
Another one
On the app?
on an app.
No, the app's dead.
I'm
Unfortunately,
so confused. as to what's
I
happening
didn't
right now.
love the whole Martin Lawrence comes back to life and stands on. It lasted way too
Weird.
long.
Right, and then we get him doing it's kind of a callback to Wusa and him trying to control that sort of energy of himself. I just think again, too much, way too much.
Just
Scene's
weird.
too long. Why are we up here? We've one thing of the butt is great. We don't need to see it 4 times.
No.
That comedy does not work.
what about when
Cut
he shows
this
his
down.
dick to the audience
That's
or
fine.
the town? Yeah.
That's great. That's fine. But
I liked it as I agree it was a little too long, but I appreciated it kicking off where I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a fun thread to run with for Marcus in our 4th film with him."
Sure.
Where he isn't going to be the uptight, "Ooh, I don't want to do that anymore." And I think it leads to a lot of fun situations.
it gets down to a stylistic thing like we talked about, right? Which is that what is this movie? Is it a gritty action movie that's violent where people are allowed to say, crazy jokes, or is it slapsticky, or is it CG candy going up into the air and landing on the tongue during a firefight that completely deflates any action that we wanted to have for that,
I didn't
right?
need the action. I wanted the tongue.
And I get it. And look at them. It's a hodgepodge of everything,
Spits it
but
out. I was like, "That's funny. That's funny."
again, we saw that in the trailer, which is
I didn't
unfortunate.
see any trailers. I came in
Yeah, I was
blind.
in the trailer, as was the alligator thing later. But and both of those, I was like, oh god, it's gonna be really cringy when we get to it, and they were. I digress. He's up there. He shows his Pichalik to the city, which is definitely not Miami. And he's just like, oh. And then it comes back down. And from the rest of the time, he's like, I can't die. We go to the family from here.
He has the whole thing where he runs through, hey, we're soulmates and babies. And
At the wedding, we get introduced to some of the characters from the last movie, including
Vanessa Hudgens.
Vanessa Hudgens, and who this is a very beautiful movie. So many people in this movie are just like, my God, looking fantastic. The whole crew that they have it. This team called Ammo. Did you know their name was Ammo?
That's so sick.
Because I missed that. But yeah, Vanessa Hudgens and Alexander Ludwig, who was Dorn, the tech guy, who I first see him like, you're not that good looking. And then he takes his shirt off later. I'm like, oh, I was fucking wrong.
Yeah,
like, what are we talking
he's
about
also like
here?
6'4".
It was insane. But anyways, we see them. We also see Will Smith's former lover.
the new captain, Rita.
The new captain.
Was she the lover in the last one?
Yeah.
Because I don't remember this lady at all.
Yeah, she was from the
Okay.
last. She was like the main thing from the last one
Got
with
it.
him.
And the politician.
And she now has a new husband.
Reed Richards.
Whatever.
I think he was just a boyfriend.
But
yeah,
like
Reed Richards,
long
more
term,
importantly, the guy
whatever.
from Titanic.
But Reed Richards from Fantastic Four. That the whole movie, I was like, I think that's Mr. Fantastic, but it was.
Well, he didn't have like a Cuban accent in Fantastic
That
Four.
is
so
fair,
it's
but
harder
I
to
also
throw you
just
off.
like. There's something about, he looked so good in this movie
Yeah.
that I was like, there's no way he was Mr. Fantastic in 2000.
Because he had the white hair and he had the white sides.
That was what I was trying to.
maybe.
What I was hung up on. I was like, I know he's from Titanic, right? But I was like, wouldn't he
Was
be
he
way
in
older?
Titanic?
Wait, who the fuck was he in Titanic?
He's just like he's one of the. He has speaking lines, but he's one of the guys like getting people on the lifeboats. I think.
Did you see the captain
Or,
just
I
died
know
from
that.
Titanic?
I did.
Bad.
He's one of. I know for sure he is.
Didn't know that recipe.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Oh shit!
Take a moment.
That's crazy.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it
I
is.
would have never recognized him from there.
Dang.
I'll never forget somebody in Titanic.
I mean,
I could be
I've-
walking down the street right now, 20 paces away. There's that little girl Billy Zane was holding. I'd be like, "You're a woman now, but I know you were in Titanic," and I'd swerve at her.
I have a child.
You swore about her. Oh no!
I got big problems with this
Oh
girl.
no! What did she do to you?
I don't want to talk about it.
Are
I
we
got big
intimidating,
problems.
or are we having to bury a body after this?
So we see this guy come in as the new love interest of Will Smith's former love interest. So you're like, okay, and he's a politician, and he's this pretty boy, whatever.
He's
and
the bad
Greg, Greg leans forward and not quietly at all goes, "He's the bad guy."
Yeah, we
And
know.
It's like,
I don't know if you guys know this. Hollywood loves to try to pull the wool over your eyes, but if I'm in the theater, Andy, I'll make sure none of these fastballs are getting by me.
Good job. That's going to be a bunt single.
From here, I believe this is. I don't think we get the captain stuff set up yet. I think we go to the house now. We're bringing him home from the
Yeah.
hospital, and this is where we meet new Teresa. And
You guys were so hung up on this. I can't remember what old Teresa,
Me
who
either.
she was or anything. I was just like,
I
okay, cool.
believe the actress's name was Teresa Randall, and she was fantastic
Typecast.
in the first two. I don't know if she was. I don't remember anything about the third movie. I'll be honest with you.
This
I just
isn't like
remember
when they
I enjoyed it.
replaced the mom in Family Matters. Like I did not recognize
Well,
the difference.
the only reason why I remember it was because I loved the chemistry she had with Marcus. And remember, in the first movie, she was the one where the whole switcheroo thing happened. Will Smith had to go live with her, and they had a great chemistry back. I just think she was a great addition. Not to disparage the new actress, because I'm not quite sure why they switched them out, but I think maybe the first actress had some health problems. But I just don't. I think that she was such a big part of the family dynamic that I think this scene falls very flat. Also, not to be nitpicky, but this is definitely on a set, and I hated that. I know that for later down the road, it makes a lot of sense because we have a tremendous action sequence that happens here. But if you remember in Bad Boys 2, they had that awesome house on like the lake, and it was sunbathed. And I just don't like when a movie feels real for the most part, and then you go and you're like, that's obviously a set, flat lighting.
sets
Not
are big.
good.
I get hung up on that kind of shit too. I didn't hear because again, I thought this was all bing bang boom disposable. We've brought him back. We've reunited Will Smith with his wife. He's your problem now. He wants his snacks. Reggie, did you eat the snacks? Do you think your man Reggie's playing Battlefield? Yeah. And I thought we had the great line here of like, go get a job, sir. I'm a U.S. Marine.
I'm a Marine. He's like, go back to play.
Redeploy.
I just got back. When
a
you
lot
see
of great lines here.
when you see Reggie again, which I don't even know if you remember him being,
Of course,
in
yeah.
the first one, right? They had
Because I-
Well, I mean,
Because-
yeah.
I thought I'm so glad what they not only like did with his kind of giving him an arc period, right? But you know, in part 3, he was largely just remember him that
Yeah.
you know
You had that moment, right?
we
of
laughed
us
at him.
remembering in the old ones, him showing up and them fucking
When he was
with
like a
him.
kid,
right?
yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, cool, they brought him back now that he's older. That's funny. And this, I thought they were gonna just do the same thing. Here he is, funny again, and they far surpassed any expectation I could have had.
The second they said he was
job,
Marine, I was like, oh, what are we gonna do with that? I wonder if that'll come back.
Was, and they did some amazing stuff with it.
But they threw away Martin's snacks, or I'm sorry, Marcus's snacks. He's dealing with all of that. Will
So
Smith
we're going
and
vegetarian.
his what? Yeah, I know what. Will Smith and his wife
Go to their
leave,
incredible mansion.
and they just get nudie and they bang a bit. But then we catch up with them on the water. But she's wearing like a button shirt, so you know they got it.
Oh yeah, they got it on.
They got
They
it.
did get it on.
It's
I
not
forget.
Anderson.
He doesn't have I forget how the news of, or why the news of the captain.
I'll get there.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We get the next scene.
Exactly.
Which
The next
is
scene, of course,
McSteamy.
is McSteamy from
right.
Grey's fucking Anatomy. Now more known a little bit from Euphoria as being the guy who peed in his own foyer and had a whole great story and amazing show. Euphoria is
Right.
amazing. Anyway, so McSteamy from Grey's Anatomy, who's now evil. But anyways,
Great looking hair though.
there,
That silver hair.
there's
that goes
some
silver.
guy and there's some old guy and some
Right.
young broad in there in a hot tub or whatever. And then guess what? McSteamy shows up with a whole bunch of people and guns. And he's like, you're going to log in to do the thing and get the
Yeah.
MacGuffin and change.
They
the-
had McDreamy and McSteamy.
They did. Wait, was Patrick Dempsey in the last
yeah,
one?
No. I'm just saying, like in Grey's Anatomy, they had
McDreamy
McDreamy
and
and a
McSteamy.
Well,
McSteamy.
Yes.
Yeah, McDreamy was
Patrick Dempsey was McDreamy,
Oh.
because he
And
was the
then
dream
they
guy,
entered it-
and then Eric
yeah.
Dane was
Because
McSteamy.
he came out of the steam
Yeah.
shower.
Yep.
Now they got Lara Croft, Camilla Luddington.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, of course. But anyways, the whole thing of like, we need you to log in, give me your phone. You can't log in with a phone. And say video calls the guy's wife or whatever. And he's like, what's up, honey? Oh, who's that? Click. Now you're in trouble. And fucking do the thing. And they do the thing. And they need you to transfer this money. And it's going to be in the captain's name. And they do the fucking thing. And then it's like, oh, but it went bad. And she caught you on the phone with your wife. And
Yeah.
ping pong. Everybody getting shot.
Obviously, he wants to do transfers. He wants to do a bunch of backdated transfers to Captain Howard's account. This is where the movie is. You know, you wish any Bad Boys movie or any Fast and Furious movie just had a better plot, a more compelling reason why anyone was doing anything. Granted, that's not why you go see the movies, but this is so cookie cutter and generic. Whatever. I digress.
Do what I need to do.
Love Euphoria guy though. I know I missed this, but he's great.
McSteamy.
McSteamy is what we'll call him. From there, the news breaks, and he's like, another thing, right? I think this is where we get to see in the next day where it's like we're convening a tribunal, and this the FBI guy's going to come here, and FBI guy's like just generic.
Immediately
And
breaks on the news.
it starts breaking on the news.
Oh, happened? He's evil.
I think at this point, we've already met his daughter and his granddaughter.
So to shoehorn in as fuck at the wedding, right? Where it's like, yeah, now his
Ugh.
daughter's here to do
Rough.
this thing, and the granddaughters too, and that grandpa. Like, wait, I'm sorry, aren't you of legal drinking age? You are the oldest 15-year-old I've ever seen. And why you're a 35-year-old acting like you're a 15-year-old, but then or looking like your actions are an 11-year-old. I don't understand where I'm at right now with this
Bizarre.
character.
It was very weird, and I wish they had just been the daughter having to team up with them and deal with the fact that this guy Armando had killed her dad. That would have been more fun.
It's so funny as we start like kind of discovering more, and you were mentioning earlier, Nick, that you didn't remember his old love interest from part 3, Will Smith's love interest from part 3, and I was very much the same. Where like I don't remember much at all about Bad Boys for Life, and as we start to get references to the son, I was like, oh, that's right.
The son I totally forgot about. I was like, oh, he was the main part of Bad Boys 3.
And while that's true, I feel like the reason I like this movie so much is it made the most of those things. And like, I don't really remember him that much. Loved him in this. Like, I feel like they introduced him in a way that I'm like, oh, okay. I remember vaguely all the things I need to. And they made him amazing in this movie. Like, he was so much fun.
He was
He's the best
awesome.
part of this movie. Is action-wise, I think he was really, really fun to watch.
Dude, that jail sequence was sick.
Incredible.
Another small pet peeve. Again, I'll just get all of the stupid nitpick stuff out of the way. The police precinct here is just a random office building. Granted, that's what cop places look like now.
But, like,
but I
not
miss the random. What was this? Used to be a bank beforehand.
Yeah.
Where it was just there's no style to any of it.
Totally.
It's so vanilla. It could be an FBI place.
I
it
need
could
some
be a cop
noir
place,
lighting.
whatever.
I need sweat.
Yeah, we
Everybody's
gotta
gotta be
have
sweaty.
fans. Where are
AC's
the
off.
fans?
Where are
Remember
the
the fans in
fucking
the first
fans?
couple? This is Miami. What are they? The whole town got air conditioning all of a sudden overnight.
Overnight.
Anyway,
like 6 years away.
we come in here and the daughter's like, this bullshit. There's no way he did this. Mike's like, we got this. Don't worry about it.
Mike's like, I was already yelling at him about this.
Yeah, I got it.
She's like, were you really? Well, are we fucking friends? Because you let this happen on your watch. She says something really offensive to him and then leaves.
And then I would have been like this. Yeah, but look how absolutely great Will Smith looks like in this lime sweater with the gun hanging out of his. I was like,
Oh,
what do you?
dude,
He looks
has
good.
anyone ever
He looks
looked
great.
cooler?
No.
Dude. Nick leaned over, was like, "I need that jacket.
I gotta have
that
that
sweater.
sweater.
You got to get it, dude. We all need.
We gotta
it.
find it for you.
I think
It's incredible.
all of us would look better wearing that sweater.
Somehow I forget they get a message from Captain, right, or someone maybe gets a text message from the dead, and it's like, hey, you got to check what the Coke bottle glass
Remember
is.
what happened is
It's when they hack into his PC. You have the bald-headed
Oh,
lady
right.
who's
It
the
triggers
the
the
person
message.
in the chair, right?
Right.
She's doing
They're
the
dance
hacking,
people.
and they're like, "Oh, if we just triggered a failsafe," and that sets off
Now,
the text message.
Andy, I
automated.
just wanted to remind you, because we talked about this before, that the amusement park, the abandoned amusement park that they're in, which I think is a great set piece, reminds me a lot of how the Hard Target ends with all the carnival floats and stuff. Remember in the warehouse where he goes,
Musical?
No, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme,
Oh, right.
Chance, right? Because my mama took one.
because my mama took one. Why are
That's-
you
I
Why
just
are you
wanted to
named
get there.
Chance?
Why is your name Chance? Because my mama took one.
They don't make it like that anymore.
They
guys.
don't do
You
it
know
like
what I
that
mean?
anymore.
Just a badass mullet.
You should grow a mullet.
This sets us on our cat and
You've
mouse
never
chase.
brought it up to Tim before. Tim, you should grow a mullet.
One day, the funny thing about Tim is that I say all these stupid references, and slowly but surely we get there.
Yeah.
Like Mad Max, he's like, "Oh, bait." I you figure that out.
Start getting it all.
Which
Yeah.
of course I've said to you.
I like
hundreds,
you say the
hundreds of
bait. Like, you reference the modern movie. You don't reference the ones that you've been taught, the Road Warrior or fucking Blaster Master. Like, the fact that I've heard about Blaster Master for
Master Blaster.
Master Blaster.
Get it right.
Thank
It's
you.
okay, close enough.
Blaster Master, the stupid video.
I'll
game.
allow it.
Jared Petty's not here. What are we talking about? You know what I mean? But we got Master Blaster here, and I've heard about this shit from Nick for so goddamn long, and I didn't know it was two people. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't want to
What a
spoil it for you.
reveal.
I keep some in here for us.
Yeah, Greg learned this week.
We cut over to Fletcher, who is now a member of this crew, and like this guy's going to be in this whole time. Fletcher, the
John
tall guy.
Sally,
John Sally.
Oh yeah, okay.
and this is one of those where it's happening. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to know this guy from the 3 movies I've
Remember, he
watched.
goes,
I
I will
remember
knock
him.
you the fuck out. Remember, because he's so tall. And Fletcher's like, remember, he stands up. He's like, I don't have to take that kind of shit from you. He's in the chains. Bad Boys
No,
1.
just
Or
don't.
Bad Boys 1.
I
He's a
just
hacker.
remember like, oh, John Sally, the former NBA player. I remember they brought him back. That's really, really cool. And then they quickly took him out.
Shoot
And I was
him
like,
right in
that's
the head.
even
It was
Stevie
cooler.
with the cool
shocking,
gun.
dude.
That's even cooler.
This is where we get.
Even cooler. Never forget you, John Sally.
Dude, the way they do the tall, short camera stuff here, it's like
So
it's a Bad Boys classic, and it's more exaggerated than we've ever seen it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it hits that point of I'm like, y'all are going too hard on this, and then I'm like, oh, you went just the right amount. Like it is
Because we
so
needed to see that
they
angle.
push through it, man. Like it's
Yeah.
very funny.
He's like, it's the file's hidden in something beautiful, and he's nodding over to the LED screen, which
These
kind of
idiots
confused me
can't
too. I was
figure
like,
it out.
is it in there? So anyway, it turns out it's a QR code.
Didn't work for me.
Doesn't really work
Not
for me
only,
either.
I mean, like, did the humor not work? Of the like, I get it, and they're not getting it, and they're just yelling at him. I get that, and whatever, and then they kill him, and that's cool. It more didn't work. That why was Vanessa Hudgens filming this art and then breaking it down frame by frame? They never, like, they didn't get it. Right? Like
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence and Will Smith didn't get it. So why would they then tell her? And then why wouldn't she communicate? It's just like, oh, I was filming this thing and I noticed frame by frame. I'm like, there could have been a cooler way to tell us
Definitely.
this.
Well,
They're
for-
cleaning blood off the wall and
Yeah.
for 2 seconds the QR code's on their hand. Like, wait, what the fuck?
It felt like someone was like, oh, we're going to reference QR codes. That's funny to modern kids. And it's like, no, QR codes aren't that. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like they thought there was a joke there that just wasn't there.
I
It
just
was-
love that they killed John Sally.
That was awesome.
And
Like,
again,
I
cool
wasn't-
thing,
I wasn't
Nick
expecting
Stevie with
those
the
sort of
weird gun
stakes.
and the turns and shit. Can we get that gun? I want to do that gun.
Yeah, we can get. I'll buy you a gun.
I shoot the
I wanna
exit
do that
sign.
gun?
Do like this. Shoot the exit sign.
We
Not even on camera.
It'd be for you. Your amusement. I want you to think
Oh
I'm
no,
cool.
do that exit time because we have the other camera. We have the
Perfect.
Shit,
yeah.
fuck, good call.
right or
There it
yeah, you can shoot the other exit sign. About that.
I got a lot
Oh,
closer
man.
than you thought.
I was like, holy shit, it's going to hit it.
That's
I'll
good.
never find that again. We do get the funny comedic beat of them wheeling out Fletcher, but his legs are
Yeah,
hanging
his
off.
legs
'cause
are
he's
hanging
so
off.
tall. We also get a
Very
great
well.
action
Like a
sequence
little
here.
naked gun there.
We go up on the freeway. This is where Will Smith has the panic attack for the first time. I'm like, oh great, we're gonna deal with this the rest of the movie. Why?
Did we though?
Why?
It's right underneath the fire extinguisher. Not really. I felt like this is a weird thing to introduce and not do anything with.
This is what I alluded to in the beginning in the spoiler-free thing of like, wow, okay, Martin Lawrence, like his character growth, I'm going to die, whatever. It had its comedy moments. It had its like emotional moments. definitely not perfectly done, but serviceable. The Will Smith stuff, bad.
They tried.
Very bad. Like
As soon as they
my
introduce
thing
it,
is
you're
like trying is like I think even giving it too much credit. Like
sure.
they did. They just should have tried harder.
Like, well, I guess what I'm just the angle I'm coming from is like they found a cool thread to run with for Martin Lawrence, and they were grasping at straws
Sorry,
for
we
whatever
need
to do with
something.
Will
We
Smith.
need a balance.
Yeah.
Oh,
again,
it
like
didn't
as
work.
soon as they introduce it, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be just there. So he bricks at the like in an opportune moment, right? Which
A
of course
character he loves gets
he could have
hit,
done taken the shot and taken out McSteamy. He doesn't do it, and so it's like either commit to this earlier or find a cooler way to do that.
I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because I read a think piece on this movie earlier
finally.
today that I was like, I'm so interested if this is real at all. But like, did you guys realize what the panic attack subplot ends in? Like
Well,
what
the
breaks
cap-
him out?
He
Him
slaps,
getting the
he
shit
slaps
kicked
him,
out
right?
of him by Martin Lawrence. Yeah.
He gets slapped by Martin. Oh, wow.
Oh,
Wow.
right. Yeah. No, I noticed that too.
Yeah.
But I
didn't
know
realize
that there was like subtext to the slap, to the Chris
I
Rock
guess there
slap.
must be.
Many times. It's like, huh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I was too focused on the fact that as a fan and as anyone who has ever watched one of these fucking movies should have been the fucking moment where he goes, we're fucking bad boys. Ride
For
or
life.
die, right? I need you to fucking ride or die with me right now. Instead of saying that 2 scenes earlier when they're standing on the bed,
Like
he's like,
10
bad
times.
boys, bad.
Why do the bad boys think?
The movie's called Ride or Die. This is the moment.
Reba McEntire singing "Bad Boys." Let's
I mean,
fucking not get mad.
I love that. I loved it. Oh, there was just.
I
a
didn't
lot.
love that.
You're an
I
idiot.
just was like, this is
You're an
we have this
idiot,
wonderful
Andy.
moment where it's the payoff for the thing that I didn't like, but whatever, it's payoff where he's talking to Captain. He's like, no, you're whatever, and then he gets slapped, and it's a great moment of comedic beat, and
It's
he
a
goes,
great
I
comedic
need
beat.
nasty Mike, and I'm like, what is that? Is that a callback
is
from earlier? I don't know. This is when you go, we're bad boys for life. Fucking ride or die with me. One last ride with me, right? Or whatever the hell
last
you have to say.
time. One
last
last
time.
time.
Let's fucking go. And then the slow-mo. We didn't get that.
Nope.
A little bit of waste moment. Moment still hit. Whatever. We're not there yet. From here, geez, I don't even know where we are. We go back, do the thing. We get Thor and Vanessa Hudgenson to get recruited. He goes, go get this stuff. And this is where we start getting, I think, actually, I'm lost now. What happens next?
So from there, you're
Where do we go
right
from
that
there?
they do the code. They find the next video. The video says, "I have the
Oh,
storage
right.
unit."
Didn't know if it was going to be you guys or not. Now they know it's you. It's a storage unit. Here's all the stuff. They tell them to go down to the storage unit, put it in this cool boathouse this guy has. And like this guy needed to get any cooler.
Yeah.
Right?
It's cool hacker boathouse.
Sick hacker boathouse. We get them getting framed too, right? At some
Not
point.
yet. Meanwhile, here's where the bad guys have discovered that they're on to
Got to
this
go to
as well.
Armando. That's what they got to do
Yep.
next, right? They got to go to prison. This is where we go, hey, you guys are cops. You guys have been cops for a while, right? Clearly, this guy's an ex-Colombian drug enforcer who has killed lots of people. Maybe we have a conversation with him, not where everyone else can see you have a conversation with him. Because there's just one dude who's like, this is just like a bald, Aryan-looking dude who's like,
Yeah.
sees him and we're like, oh, okay, well, this guy's going to be in mortal peril.
But even you bring him in another room, you're gonna know. They're gonna be like, Wait a
Cops
second.
always talk, sure.
I mean, it's also his dad, right? I don't know if that's publicly known or whatever. I feel like it is.
Yeah, so it was hilarious when we started this. I was like, oh, right, I somehow
Totally
forgot
forgot.
the subplot that Mike
1000%.
Lowry had an affair with a Colombian
Yeah.
drug dealer woman.
Yeah.
And they
the
had a
plot,
kid.
not sub. The plot
That was the plot
of
of the
three.
movie. I couldn't even. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
put
I'm
the
with you,
actress
man.
of who was supposed to be that bad guy right in front of me, I couldn't pick her out of a lineup. I have no idea who that was.
Fair enough.
Here we go. I'll skip around a little bit here.
No,
we
you're
get
doing
this.
great.
We get this incredible sequence where, they get word that someone's trying to kill Armando. Then it cuts over to the yard, and Armando sees it coming, and he takes a 45-pound weight, puts his
it
shirt
around
through
his
it,
shirt. Sting, ping, pong,
and murders everyone. And I'm like,
Amazing.
dude.
Then Hall almost just stops himself because there's still good in him.
so,
Gets over that guy and he's like, I won't murder you as well.
It's the Hobbs and Shaw moment, man, but done right. We've talked so much on Fast 8 of like, we're not going to invite fucking Shaw to the barbecue. What are we goddamn talking about here? This is one of those moments. It's like, yo, he killed the captain. Like, I don't care that he's Will Smith's son.
right.
Nah, dude. This scene, though, it's like, oh, you're building it for us. You're
getting
building
there.
it.
We're getting there.
They did it.
Maybe brought some bomb-ass potato salad. Maybe we let him into the barbecue.
That's all you
We
need.
don't know. From here, word gets back to Will Smith, and he's like, look, you got to take my son out of witness or put him in the witness protection or whatever because he knows stuff. He can identify the guy who is framing a captain because the captain was onto these people. Turns out the captain has gotten framed, but he was onto this like corrupt. There was some sort of mole for the Colombian
There's
cartel.
rats in the walls,
Rats
boys.
in the walls. And so Armando can identify him. We got to get him out. Of course, we see a Chinook helicopter, and I'm like, here we go. This is the next sequence.
Oh, man. The moment the helicopter showed
like,
up,
this is
I
gonna be
literally
lit.
like my toes started curling a little bit. I was like, "Oh, I'm getting ready. We're about to get something hot."
This
and they
scene-
delivered.
And McSteamy comes with his big old fucking bruiser.
This scene is a standout for me.
Yes.
The way it's choreographed, the use of 3-dimensional space as the helicopter's like flipping around, the fact that he's on the ceiling and all this stuff.
And another good
super
one.
rad.
There's I don't even remember what he says, but Marcus is like, "All right, mother." She
Yeah.
just gets thrown around. I think it's amazing.
Super fun.
Reminded me of Uncharted 3.
Great comedy action. Uncharted. Yeah. Like it's just so well done. I love that the son is in a literal cage and there is a key to get him out. And the back of this helicopter ends up blowing out. And it's like, what are we going to do here? And the way that they kind of escalate all the action. And there's parts of this where clearly it's dumb comedy and it's buddy cop bullshit. And like it's action for comedy's sake, action for action's sake, all these things. When they're holding onto that rope and it starts pulling their hands and you see the blood on their hands, it adds stakes to it that I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wow, this is good. This is more than just fun. This is like, there's something here.
Agreed. We get this sequence ends, of course, with it going into the water. They get out. They are now on the lam. It's where it's gotten back. His gun was used to kill the chopper pilot.
He made the pilot read the thing.
Made the pilot
about
read the
they've
thing,
done it,
which
they're killing
again,
us.
the message he made him read could be misinterpreted. If I heard that, I'd be like, it wasn't exactly spot on. Like Lowry did this. It was just like something. Lowry and Burnett, and then something. I was
Clear
like,
as day, they were breaking out the guy. They're
All right,
bad guys.
fair
They're
enough.
bad boys now.
they're now on the lam and they're like, throw your cell phones away. This is where Will Smith has another panic attack, and his son's like, the old
he
man
fights
just don't
through
got
it.
it. Fights through it, and he's like, we got to go figure this out. We can't go our separate ways. There's good in you yet, my son. And so they go, cool. Then we go over to the redneck trailer park where we get a beat of humor here that just does not work for me. The Reba stuff, the stealing the clothes stuff. I wish this scene just didn't exist.
Here's the thing. I wish it was better than it was.
I
I
agree.
feel like the setup, like when you see the little trailer park and that's where they're entering, you start to laugh. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, this is good. I just feel like they didn't quite get there. But the Reba thing at the end got me there. I just feel like everything in between was like, and it's just because Reba actually has the Bad Boy song. Like,
Which
using
I
the
did not
song
know.
was great.
I don't like this scene. I'll tell you why, because it's reminiscent of the intro scene for Bad Boys 2 where they're in KKK gear.
Yeah.
And that is so
That
much
was
funnier
better.
and so much
Yeah.
better. And that ends with Marcus getting shot in the butt and all that stuff. And we get all the humor from that. To me, that's a much better setup of like,
Yeah,
if you're going
you're
to
right.
do something, a scene of this ilk.
Yeah, because there was a weird one here where they put the racists on their heels by like you think I'm stealing your clothes because we're black or whatever these, and it's just like, and then the racists are like, whoa, what? And it's like, but they didn't lean enough into that to make that be the joke, and then they immediately deviate to the shirt joke, and
Yeah.
then they deviate to another joke, and then it's all right, well, sing us a Reba song, and it's like, you know these are your clothes.
Right.
If like, why? If somebody was wearing the X-Cash shirt in my backyard off the line, I'd be like, I don't need you to tell me why Paris sucks. I mean, everybody knows, but like, I don't need you to give me that reference. I know that's mine. This doesn't make any sense.
We're talking about how the scene didn't work yet.
And
Yeah.
Paris sucking.
Didn't love it. They move off and they're like, we got to go back to Miami. We got to talk to Tiffany Haddish. She's
Can
got.
I say one quick thing that we
Please do.
out in the woods? I did like the scene when they were on the fire, and he's like, he already said you're terrible at being on the lam or whatever, and Marcus is like, oh, you're making us look bad in front of your son or whatever. You know, he's thinking we can't be on the lam. I was like, that was good.
We do get the back and forth between him where he's like, why don't you tell him you're sorry for being a bad dad. This scene, again, another one that goes on a little too long, but we needed it. We needed that tender moment. I just wish they had cut a little bit of
To
it out.
flip it to the Jason Statham from Fast and the Furious stuff, right? Where it was like such an offense of like, oh my God, you're the bad guy and you killed Han, so how could you ever do any of this? I never had those feelings towards this guy even though I loved the captain, I'm not that invested, I guess, in these things, and let alone the guy I didn't know what he's up against. I think they did a great job of making me like the son throughout this. Whereas in the last movie, I was like, fucking kill him. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it was like, oh, like he was vulnerable in the cage and needed help. He gets out of that. They have a few exchanges, and then throughout the movie, whatever, all the stuff they do with him.
Agreed.
Did we already talked about the dream that you were a goat?
We didn't. That was on the helicopter.
That was in the helicopter? Yeah. Yeah.
Love
We did
that.
not talk about that.
Loved that. Oh, donkey, yeah. Loved
Donkey.
that.
He's
back
like, you were
and
mean
forth.
too, but I was mean to you. You used to bite me, but I mistreated you in another life. And then he just would get the donkey joke for the rest of the time. He's like, you're a mean ass donkey.
It was a great line. It was just a great back and forth.
We go over to Tiffany Haddish's strip club, and we set it up. I don't know if we can trust her. I remember last time you saw her, she doesn't like it that much. And Tiffany Haddish can be hit or miss for me in movies. I think she's hitting this one.
Hit for sure.
What a
I
great
think the
time she's
movie
having.
elevates here. Like I think the helicopter scene that we got before this was like, oh, that was rad action. This was like, oh, this is the type of comedy I expected from this movie, and I think kind of from here on out, it's more in this realm.
And I think the comedy works here because obviously it's Tiffany Haddish being in her bag as a comic, talking about I'll give you the information you want on this dude, but you got to go down and eat it.
And then there's fun back and forth, right? Of, well, I'm a married man now, but
Stupid fun back and forth. And of course, she is just stalling for time. There's a reason for her saying these things. It's not just dumb improv. She's stalling for time because she's notified there's a bounty on their heads now. And this is what I was talking about when I was so rudely interrupted by Tim when I was talking about SWAT. That was the most
between us. He's just an asshole.
You got to get him more drunk before these because he needs to roll with you. He needs to be the third asshole.
I want him
More
to pass
drunk.
out and wake up in a ditch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Santa
fair.
Fe.
Next to that girl from Titanic.
That's a good callback.
I love the setup here, and I wish they had leaned in a little bit more of like there's a bounty on their heads now, and that's what I loved so much about SWAT was that was the whole point, right? The guy's like, I'll give $100 million to anyone who comes and breaks me out, and then from that point on, the team was being hunted down by every single thing, whatever. It's a cool setup. And I think it's fun here. And obviously, the guy comes in, and he's badass and really scary. And he's like, the bounty's for dead or alive. And then Tiffany Haddish goes, hey, Armando, if you can live through this, you holler back at me.
He goes, what?
He's like, what? She's like, he's fine as hell, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not pretty good looking. I would watch them have sex. We go out. This is where we get the line from the trailer where he's like, Mike, I can't be killed, right? We already established that. He goes, I'll take the 3 in the back. You take the 6 in the front. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, we're going to go where these nice gentlemen tell us to go.
Now, here's the thing. This moment, the whole, oh, I can't die, such a funny bit that I don't think ever fully paid off in this movie. Like, the Frogger thing they did was like, I must have been in the bathroom, the Michael Bay cameo and all that stuff.
No,
like,
we didn't even talk about it. We
oh,
just-
man, whatever. It was just so like, ugh, like, I get what we're doing here, but it's starting with him standing like on the building, and, like showing his butt and all that stuff. I'm like, I get what you're building to, but I don't know that it's ever going to be worth it. And I don't know that it ever was with Martin Lawrence. Like, I guess maybe the Gator bit I did.
The Gator
think was
bit I
kind of
think was
funny,
great.
but like,
No, I mean, I think when he's drinking the liquid and eating the jelly beans, like that sequence where he's showing like, I'm invincible, let's do that, and Will Smith is like, no, what are you doing? Like those moments got me. But I see what you're saying.
I guess you are right. Like, that was awesome. I just feel like there's something that it didn't hit on all levels of the comedy and action and payoff of story of him doing this, that even while that scene was great, I just feel like it didn't remind me of, oh, he thinks he's invincible. It was just like, oh, you're a bad boy.
I
You
thought
know
it was
what I
just,
mean?
he wanted to eat candy.
Oh no, I've read that as like.
I read that as I
Well,
can't
I
die.
think
no
where he like
time.
stands up and starts shooting, that's why he specifically is like, oh, I'm invincible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like him like diving again, like it felt like he was back in like I'm back, baby. Like, I'm back into my old form or whatever. And the only payoff there really was for me was this. You don't know this man. This man's invincible. Who the fuck are you talking about, Marcus? Like,
Yeah,
those moments are where they really.
I just feel like towards we'll get to it towards the end, but like the way that he kind of when he gives up on that, and then the final moments of the movie, I'm like, wow, you just gave up on the whole thing that you were building towards. But this moment here, where DJ Khaled comes in,
DJ Khaled was awesome.
holy shit, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in theaters. Like, this motherfucker coming through, it turning into an all-out gang John Wick style assault of everyone in town is hunting these guys.
Yeah.
And here's DJ Khaled.
Here's Khaled.
He's back, baby.
He's a monologue.
And what are they gonna do?
I loved his line delivery. It was
Oh
awesome.
my
They're
god!
good.
And then he gets hit by the car, and it is so funny.
He gets pinned
So
in
good.
between the wall.
The car, of course, is on fire now, but don't worry. The fire's on the outside of the truck, not on the inside of the truck. Uh-oh, now it's on the inside of the truck. We get a chase sequence. They slam into Get Away, of course, being chased by Better Call Saul, the actress, and she's like, dang, they got away.
U.S. Marshals, Tommy Lee style.
I do want to give a shout out to, I think, a scene that I missed earlier when we first established where he's like, Mike, I know something you don't know. I can't die. And starts walking out into traffic. We get a banger of a cameo from Michael Bay in the original Porsche 911 Turbo from Bad Boys, which is fun, which is his car. Of course, if you guys remember that trivia, he loaned his car to the production because they couldn't afford one. And so this car you see that Mike Lowry drives the entire time was Michael Bay's, which is cool. And it's a very, very expensive, very, very cool vintage Porsche. From this point on, they're like, uh-oh, Bring up my ring cam.
Whoa.
I got to see what's going on. They get a notification. I can't remember how we
Well,
get
they
into
go
this.
to the houseboat.
Right, the
We
houseboat.
get Vanessa Hudgens in her underwear. We get the reveal that they're dating. But then we have Armando coming back in, her pulling the gun, them arguing about that.
Good sequence. We got to start figuring out who
Yeah,
this
it's
person
fine.
is.
Yeah,
Where this
you
is,
are.
yada,
What
yada.
the fuck? I like that.
From this, we get a picture. We get the time lapsey weird thing, and then we get the picture of Eric Dane.
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh, this is the guy." Scan it in, bring it up, enhance. This is the dude. Let's pull up his record. It ends up being an ex-army captain or whatever who was betrayed. And
They tear off all
they
your
tear off
fingers.
they gave him the Colombian necktie.
They call this the Tuscan nail
Manicure
trim.
or something like that.
manicure.
Yeah.
Oh.
It turns out
Brutal.
this guy was
Nailed pliers.
tortured and gave up his entire team, and now he's a bad guy, but that's how he has ties to. Why he would be working then for the Colombian cartel is sort of beyond me if they had tortured him and killed his whole team.
Honestly, the
It
plot
doesn't
of the
make a
bad
lot
guy,
of sense.
Horrible.
Very,
Bad
very
guy.
bad.
Love him.
Love the guy, right? From here, he's like, bring up the cam, and they see that, the houses are in danger.
Dun, dun, dun.
What are we going to do? We're so far away. Who are we going to call? And of course, he
The
sees
gamer
Reggie, the Marine.
playing Battlefield.
Playing
like
Battlefield.
Gamer would.
Yeah.
Calls
Battlefield gets a
Reggie.
credit in the credits, and I was like, oh, they got paid.
And at this point, I'm like, they're not going to. There's no way.
No way.
There's no way
No
they're
way.
going to do this. There's no way they're going to do this. Calls him up and says, Reggie, we've got incoming. Get the family to safety. Reggie puts him in, and I'm still like, there's no way. They're not. I'm not this. I don't deserve this scene. Reggie puts him in the closet,
Nick, I just got chills.
looks over, and we see a gun safe, and I go, they're gonna fucking do this. Beep boop bop boop, pulls out the 1911 and just goes and shuts the door on him, and I'm like, this is about to be the best scene in any Bad Boys
They're
movie.
gonna John Wick Reggie right here.
So fucking
This sequence is so
fucking good.
awesome, and it's made even better by the first time Reggie pops off. Martin Lawrence goes, "What the fuck?" and he's reacting to this like,
They're all
"Oh my
watching,
god!" They're
enjoying it.
all enjoying the
Oh,
shit out of this.
yeah.
It's played perfectly. The comedy, the choreography of the action, the choreography of the camera going from them watching into the screen, into the
very
action,
cool,
back and
very
forth, the
cool.
spins. Holy shit, this was amazing.
Question from the peanut gallery over here. Is
Sure.
this the same Reggie from
Yep.
Yes,
2?
the young
is it
kid,
the same
the young
actor?
kid.
Yep.
He's jacked
is
now.
all he's ever done.
He's like
Awesome.
6'4", and
And he
he
just
beats,
pops
he fucks
off.
everyone up in the
Dennis
scene. It's
Green, his
incredible.
only film credits here are Bad Boys, and then he was on Check It TV once.
Well, because they brought again,
That's
they
awesome.
brought him back in part 3 as like, oh yeah, wow, they brought him back. He was the young guy from
Yeah.
the other movies. How funny that we're seeing him now,
all
15,
grown
20
up,
years
still
later,
married,
and then. But I thought that's all they were gonna do with him again in this movie, and it was like the coolest payoff.
Unbelievable.
Just straight up John Wick action.
looking
scene.
yoked too. He was
Looking good.
He destroyed.
Everything about the scene's great. He gets the family out, and as he looks up to the nanny cam where he can see that, or the cam, he just gives him a salute.
Crisp Marine salute.
And Martin
legs
Lawrence
together.
goes, "Did you see that?" Like
The entire
just a
theater
super fan of
erupted
this guy.
'cause It
now.
was so good, and like the
So
salute
badass.
was so fucking good. Meanwhile, Will Smith calling his wife repeatedly, trying to get help.
Of course, Eric
She won't
Dane is
answer her
over
phone.
there. She won't answer her phone. For some reason, this girl that is maybe 13, maybe 75 years old, gets over to her mansion and is like, "Oh,
There's something about my
there's
grandpa or
something
whatever."
happening.
And
This
I
was so stupid.
And when this happened, I was like, is this granddaughter who's ambiguously aged about to be with the bad guys? I was like, are they about to pull a
double twist?
We're going to turn around and she's going to get behind me and be like, no, actually, you get on the fucking ground. I'm a 13-year-old, 35-year-old.
This was just one of those like you gotta get them in the same
the
room
plot to the
somehow,
plot.
Yeah.
but we don't know how. Have her go over and just like apologize. It was just so lazy and bad. I hated
So
this.
they get abducted.
kidnapped, yeah.
And they get kidnapped. And now we're in the third act of our film where it's like, we got to go save them. We figured out that they're in an abandoned amusement park.
Farm.
Oh, that's right. They figured out that the girl's, his ex-girlfriend's lover is the bad guy. He's been the mole the whole time. They have this brutal fight scene
In the
in the
elevator.
elevator where she gets her head slammed
glass
into them.
elevator. We're on the outside of the elevator as it goes and they fight and her hands get slammed into
There,
it.
there was a moment when they first call the police lady
Ring-a-ding-ding.
that used to date or Will Smith or whatever.
The new captain.
Yeah, the new captain. There's the moment where they first call and she answers the phone, and then senator, politician man walks out from the restroom or
What's
whatever.
going on? I'm
And
naked.
at this point, it's still not revealed that he's a bad guy, although we all kind of know it. But there's no like clear 100% indication that this dude is like here to screw things over. And I think what happens is Will Smith is like,
He texts her, right?
I think Will Smith is letting her know in this moment, maybe like, and the whole crowd goes, oh, the crowd kind of pops audibly. And I think it's because they thought that McSteamy was walking into the room.
Oh, I'm with you. That was a weird thing. Yeah.
And like, but it was just like, that's just her boyfriend.
like,
He's
why are
supposed
we-
to be here.
why are we-
It's even overall, like, she wrote it down, and I was expecting like a tree horn thing from Big Lebowski, where she
Jackie
takes it,
Treehorn.
he walks over there and does the thing and sees what it says, and he just walks out of the room. And so then they left
it
me.
was shot like a reveal.
They
but it
left
wasn't.
me going like, wait, is she actually the
See,
bad?
I
is
thought she was
going
gonna
to
be the mole.
Yeah. I was
And
like,
I
that'd
think-
actually be pretty clever. But then
Yeah.
that
who
would have
was
been a
right,
much
who
smarter
was right.
choice.
It's like, yeah, the audience popped for no reason, but then Mike also had a leftover pop with it, and I was just like, Mike, I don't think you know what's happening. Like,
Mike, oh!
Mike went, oh, after everybody went, oh. I
Yeah,
was like, I don't
he's
think he
excited.
understands.
Mike's in touch with energy.
Who's right about the bad guy?
You were right, sure.
So now we got this guy. We got this guy on the ropes, and he's tied up. And she's like, Was any of it real?" And he's like, "It was always real, baby. I love you so much." And then, and it's terrible scene, terrible acting from both of them. Just, I'm like, God,
I
this
guess
is so
that changes nothing.
Yeah.
Psych. Fuck you.
And it was, of course, she was baiting him into saying all the words they needed to this AI software. I'm like, what happened?
Oh, I never
Why
even
is-
got that.
Yeah, why
I
is
never
tech-
got
Oh,
that.
really? No, really?
I
That
thought
was the whole
it
point.
was just a weird scene of her being like, "I fuck you." I didn't realize.
Oh,
that.
no,
Yeah.
immediately you hear them go, we got
everything
a
we need.
99% match. We
Yeah,
got it,"
I
or
know.
whatever.
I heard all that. I didn't realize that's what they were doing. I didn't. He's a politician. How
this
many
was
fucking
bad.
YouTube videos are there of him talking? I didn't think that's
Super
what it was. I
dumb.
never put that together.
super bad, and it makes me be like, this is why I hate technology, right? This is why we should all take our iPhones, throw them out the window, and just be like, we're never using AI before. What happened to
would it
the
make you sad
put a
when-
gun to his head and just say the thing?
Would it
Like
make
they
you-
did to the
would it
fucking
make you
helicopter
sad,
guy.
though, Nick?
Exactly.
Would it make you sad of like all the iPhones on the ground, like yours is clearly the smallest iPhone there at the bottom of the ocean?
Damn.
It's my small iPhone.
It'll just be like, it'll be 300 iPhones and one Android. I digress. Here we go. We're off to it. Hey, we got a rendezvous back at this thing. Meet me there. You really screwed up. And Eric Dane's like, everyone get prepared. It's time to go mobile. We got to go. The rest of the scene is great. They fly in. Armando's in the water. The guy with the drones, all the
Hold on.
drone
Can we
sequence
stop?
stuff
The
is
team
badass.
got the things to do. They're like, yo, I got the skies. You get the ground. You get the fucking water. We're Metal Gear Soliding this.
And-
Why?
And the Santa guy in Hawaiian trying to fly the helicopter.
Yeah.
That landed. I turned to G. I'm like, who's this guy?
Why
Like
is he
everybody
here?
else made sense than Santa.
And like the whole crowd when that guy almost dies, we're like, no.
Yeah, he was just some random captain that they
I got
they
hired by the hour.
The setup for this scene is insane. I cannot believe how hard they went where they're like, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And you are in the water, you're scuba diving. Guess what? There's alligators.
Yeah.
But not just alligators. There's a legend of the biggest alligator that's
Some
ever
say
existed.
he's still there.
the albino alligator, which is important for the
Oh
joke later
my
that we saw
God.
in the trailer that didn't really hit for me. We also got a scene where we get that one tender scene. We're about to go do this one more time. How about a song? He's like, and he starts singing the Bad Boy song. I was like, oh, I don't like this at all. This is not the time to bring this in. This should have been a tender moment. I digress. We land, and Mike starts getting I can't take the shot. All the girls start coming down. They're being brought out. We see Eric Dane. He's got a shaky hand. He's like, I'm having a panic attack. I can't.
I don't have the
take
shot. I don't have the shot.
And of course, now we Bill, the alligator's coming toward Armando. He's like, you better take the shot. And the guy looks down in floorboards that are 15 feet apart. And he's like, is that someone down there? I think that is someone down there.
Is that a full face down there?
Yeah. Is that the face of my enemy? Everything starts popping off here. There's a sniper on the roof with a Car 98. And he's got to get taken out by drones that drop freaking grenades onto him.
Why are they dropping
Unbelievable.
bombs, dude?
Awesome.
was
Armando's
awesome.
popping out.
Awesome.
Mike, of course, is having a panic attack here. He's pinned down, and this is oh my gosh, the point of everything's going bad. We don't know what's going to happen. Mike sees the captain, and the captain's like, "What's up?" And then, bam, slaps him out of it, and he's like, "None of that, no more of that shit. That shit's not for right now. I need Mike. I need
Dirty
nasty Mike. I need you to get violent." And he's like, ah, and stands up, and they just start popping off. And line could have been better. Great moment though.
Yeah.
It made me laugh. It made me laugh a lot because I really just thought that I didn't expect it because I thought they were just gonna try to do the pull at your heartstrings. Here's the moment where we see the old captain. He's going, Mike, you gotta
Use
do
the
this or
force.
whatever. Here's some
Mike,
like
the ants.
motivational thing. Bam, just gets smacked. He's like, wake the fuck up, and it's
Yeah.
just so good. It was like a really
Good
good
beat of
comedic
comedy.
moment.
I love all of this comedy, action, everything. It could have been so much better.
Oh, yeah.
Every part about it. The lines and then even the action after. Like, we're talking about Bad Boys. Like, potentially the most iconic besides the Predator handshake thing. Like, when you think buddy cop action comedies or action
Weapon.
period, you get the 3D spin, 360 spin.
Which we got earlier.
but it was like
But it was
bad,
with paint on them, and it was not
It
good.
was not good. But
It
like
was such
this
a
moment could have
diet
been
version of it.
so good, and it was like, oh, okay, cool, you did the thing, but it wasn't the highlight.
Agreed.
Should have been
Here,
the highlight.
Eric Dane's like, uh-oh, they're starting to win. And so he's like, everyone get back into the Jurassic Park lobby. Get back into the lobby with Jurassic Park with the T-Rex, and the banner happens. And we got a hole up in here, and of course, he's like, hey, man, I need you to go in there and drop some smoke with those badass drones. They come
Kill
in.
them all with drones.
We got the van that's 400 miles down the road now starts going there. So
we
that
get the
Vanessa
cool drone
Hudgens and Thor,
cinematography through all of this.
Yeah.
Flying
all that
through all
stuff's
the
cool.
arena.
Amazing.
And then we get arguably the coolest scene in this whole movie, where we go in and everyone who was a good guy starts popping off and everyone's a bad guy. We get the gun sequence, which is like the preview of the gun, which you guys have probably all seen at this point, either on Reddit, Twitter, or Instagram, or TikTok, with this cool rig that's going in and
Will
out.
Smith came to my house and showed it to me.
That's pretty sick.
Oh wow.
Will Smith,
Doing door to doors for this movie.
Martin Lawrence out of ammo. Will Smith chucks the gun, and then we follow the gun and grabs. Very, very cool. Of course, at one point,
I mean,
now-
more than that, it's incredible.
It's
shit's
a very, very-
fucking
this sequence is
awesome.
rad.
And it's first person shots, and like they're shooting it, and not in a gimmicky. Well, I mean, it's incredibly gimmicky, but it's earned. And the way that they shoot it, and you see the behind the scenes, you're like, oh my god, it's practical. Like, so much of this is like why these movies need to keep happening. Like, we need fun action movies to push movies forward. Let creative directors just have fun making these movies look unique and have things that we've never seen before. We all saw that, and everyone in the theater was like, oh shit. We're locked in, man. This is awesome. And it was freaking
Audience
awesome.
was popping off. Right?
Yeah.
It was really cool.
From here, they get a beat on Eric Dane, but he's like, I got Christina. He throws a grenade at him. They get blown away. And then they got to go down and fight the albino alligator, which is a beat of comedy that should have worked.
I
Kinda,
liked it.
yeah.
I didn't care.
I think maybe
I got this, Mike. I'm one with nature and all that stuff. It's okay. What's his name? Dookie. It's okay, Dookie. Duke Bots.
like, it's
I think
racist.
that outfit is a racist.
I think I would have liked it better if they hadn't spoiled it in the trailer. Honestly,
didn't see
but
the trailer,
yeah,
so again.
you're smart for going in blind. From here, we go up. We split off. Now we're downstairs with Armando and the daughter, and this is his redemption arc where she's getting. There's 3 dudes, and he just beats the shit out of these guys. Get stabbed a bunch of times, but he's like, and then the guy stabs him, and then he just takes the knife out and stabs the guy in the head, and all this cool stuff.
What
And
does it
again,
and what does it remind you of? Boromir, Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh,
Yes.
you're right.
Getting to all the
You're right.
arrows.
You're right.
Boom, it keeps
I
on firing.
never
It is.
thought that they would have made me care about a character I didn't care about in the last movie. That's clearly a bad guy. The Shaw character of this. Like, I'm not going to be rooting for you. I want you to die, whatever. And here he is getting shot. I'm like, no, don't die, dude. I'm here for you, man. Like, they did great.
pretty cool.
almost
Because
leaves,
that jail
comes back
sequence
for
is
him.
what-
She runs out. Yeah, she comes back from him because she's like,
Then they did this weird shot with the bracelet on the ground. I was, What's that one?
Yeah,
Why'd
that
they
was
do
weird.
that? And then
I was
the
like,
mom
who's
shows up.
I
and
guess
they find
it's
the
hers,
bracelet.
but like, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, well, she's
don't
such an
know.
iconic character.
I'm
skip
glad that's
over.
all it was. I'm glad it was just you dropped this and this is
That way, your
so she's-
mom knows that you got out. And this blood trail is connected.
I thought
to
they were trying to do the look at this imagery here. Look at this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Me too.
Visual
Like,
storytelling. I was like, oh, this is kind of stupid as hell. It doesn't work for me.
But we do get the beat where she's about to shoot him, and the daughter's like, no, he saved my
saved me
life. He saved my
all."
life. And she's like, okay, I'll put it back in my cool holster. You're pretty okay. Get out of here. Get out of here, even though you've killed many, many, many people. And I'll probably lose my job for this. From here, we go over to the beach where we see the abandoned tree, the dead tree, and the parrot. Oh my God, this is from our dream. We've both seen this dreamscape. At this point, Eric Dane's got 2 guns, one on Christine and one on Martin Lawrence, who he got a beat on. And he's like, time to choose.
And this is another stupid ass like
So dumb.
this villain makes no sense.
0.
Why
Wouldn't you just shoot him when
You've killed
shoot everyone,
so
shoot
many
Martin
people.
Lawrence? Yeah.
What
shoot
are we
her,
talking
shoot
about?
everyone, get away. It doesn't matter because
what are you planning on doing when he picks the one person? Like what?
he's gonna die. But I think it was like a
so stupid.
it's
I'm
both.
gonna
It's
ruin
a
your
sacrifice.
life.
Yeah, and of course I would agree with you 100% if it not for the fact that this one line did work on me. He's like, well, I know something you don't know.
Oh, it's incredible.
One of them can't die. And then Bartlos goes, "Motherfucker, I can die." Like, what are you talking about? No, we're not doing that shit. And then he shoots him in the chest
And
again.
that's to me such a great moment. I just hated how it was built up because like the whole movie was bits of I can't die that I don't think were as good as they could have been.
No.
And then all of a sudden he's like, oh fuck, I can die. And then we get to this. It's happened so fast, the switch, that like I just love the beginning and end. I just hate the middle of it. Like not hate. I just wish it was a lot better than it was.
We're dead. They're
Martin
saved.
Lawrence doubles over.
Right.
Blow away McSteamy.
Below him, McSteamy with a very violent
Brutal.
CG shot,
So
which was
insane.
fine.
Falls down.
Confirm the
and-
kill though. They had to do it.
Yeah.
All is saved. We go over. I think that's it, right? Is there? I guess. Oh, they let Armando go. They're like, "Hey, man," he goes, "Be good. You know, you're on this Zeppelin that moves 4 miles an hour. No one will ever catch
4,000
you."
What are we
marshals swarming
talking
in like
about,
one
man?
boat, going.
There you go. We figured it out.
Everybody's like,
Because-
let that one go.
weird.
I guess. I'm sure it's not connected to this crime scene at
You
all.
you have a wound in your shoulder where you were stabbed.
I'll be all right. Go south. Got it.
That was a
And-
call they didn't need to make. Like literally just, hey, run. And him just kind of hobbling into the
Yeah.
woods and hiding would have been better than like, you're gonna get caught. Like
Yeah.
this
But
is
it was-
so
or you're gonna run out of gas in the middle of the ocean.
So you get your barbecue.
And we do get the barbecue.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
we do finally get the barbecue. That's right. That's the final scene. We get the barbecue, and Reggie's standing behind them with the chicken.
Is
and
he
and
still
he's
standing
And he's
there?
like, "Get the fuck
Yeah,
out of here!"
yeah.
Right? But of course, then they respect the shit out of him. Now he's like,
he killed like 15 people at the house.
Yeah. And he goes, "So what are you gonna do?" He goes, "I'm gonna let the man cook his chicken while I go make the potato salad. You go set the table." And that is it. And Reggie smiles and winks at the camera, and that is it.
Hey, boys!
It was missing that though. And Mike brought this up. It's a very key point. This movie I loved. I think personally easily my favorite Bad Boys movie, but it lacked the big pop hit. It lacked a banger. Like Bad Boys needs
Something
the
you connected
bangers,
with,
man.
you know?
Like a new song. But I will say score-wise, they used the Bad Boys theme in ways I never would have expected. That shit played every 3 seconds in a new genre. Good for them.
Very true. Very
Good
true.
for them. Now it's time for something that I don't like to call Ragu Bagu because we didn't do it for this. We do Rad Boys Talk Bad Boys.
Rad boys. Talk bad boys.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a podcast within a podcast where we talk about Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett. We call it Rad Guy
Boys
Talk
Talk
Bad
Bad
Boys.
Boys.
I'll be there. Don't worry.
Currently, we have Bad Boys 2, then Bad Boys 1, then Bad Boys 3. Where do we put the duo of the Bad Boys?
Number one with a bullet. Come
No,
on.
I put him at number 3.
They're at their best here.
No
they're,
way.
They're fun. They're enjoyable. They love each other.
It's
they're
just you
soulmates.
three, by the way. I don't get to vote here.
You didn't get to vote
Kevin, it was me and Kevin before.
Oh, I see.
But well, we were on the show, but we still didn't get to vote. It was just you guys. We did
Fair enough.
Remember in the old days, it used to be that Rad
Yeah.
Guys Talk Bad Guys was a selective segment. I think it was just to piss
like
off
It has no
Kevin.
difference that Kevin left. I still didn't have a vote then.
I
No, you too. You too.
No, yeah.
I think they're fine in this. I think they're better than they were in 3, but they're never going to be. There's nothing like the chemistry those guys had in the first 2 movies. Just zero. And that made
Like
those
a fine
movies.
wine, they've getting better with age.
I'm with Greg. I'm with
We
Greg.
ain't
okay.
going
Number
nowhere.
Number one.
Ain't
Because I
going
had to be
nowhere.
there.
Put 'em at
I had to be like Nick and like have a love for these movies back in the day. But watching them recently, they just didn't work for me. And the back and forth that they had in this movie, like I was laughing audibly a lot during this film.
Well, now it's time. Well, it's okay. Bad Boys 4 is number 1, 2, 1, 3, which is always going to be hard to read for me. But now it's time to rank the Bad Boys movie. Currently, our rankings of these movies. Nick, I don't think you're going to like this.
No, probably not.
Number 1, we have Bad Boys for Life, which is number 3. Number 2, we have Bad Boys 2. And number 1, we have Bad Boys 1. Where are we going to rank Bad Boys? Ride or Die?
Number
AKA
1.
Bad Boys
Throw it
4.
up there. They breathe new life into the franchise. We're all set. Give me another 9 of these, just like Fast and Furious.
I can't.
But I'll watch
disagree.
6.
Like
I will regret this. What I'm
Yes.
saying here,
I
I will
will immediately
regret.
try to get off of Bad Boys 5.
When Tim tries to send me to Bad Boys 9, I will be like,
Yeah.
fuck, there's something
Yeah.
like these.
Yeah.
I personally feel like this is undeniably the best of these movies. Is it a great movie? I don't know, but,
But
like at
it's
the
a
end of the day,
great time.
it's a great time, and it's a real great time. And I don't know that I could say that fully about the other ones. I feel like it respects the franchise. It does right by it. It makes me want more. And overall, it was just like so much fun. watching with you guys, talking about it with you guys, like they had so many payoffs, and the Reggie moment alone, like that shows the type of respect for a franchise.
I want to see
I'm
it
looking
again for the Reggie moment alone.
Oh, there we go.
It's number one. It's number one for
I
me.
mean, I'm
There
not
we go.
voted.
There we go.
What would you put? I want to know.
Oh, I mean, I definitely would put it above Bad Boys 3. So it's one of those conundrums that we always have with these
Oh,
lists
sure,
where it's
sure,
like,
sure.
I think it's much better than Bad Boys 3. I think it's going to be way more memorable for me. I just think it's lacking the style. It's got more substance than the original two,
Sure.
but way less style. And that's what I love about those movies, that they're just so iconically of that time and just perfect prime Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. And I do miss that a little bit. But what we lack in that, we more than make up for with a competent plot that kind of you can follow, as opposed to the hour that we spent in the mansion and then the random Russian guy coming back in too and be like, what is this movie? So yes, I would probably agree with you guys. This is the best one.
So yeah, there we go. Bad Boys Ride or Die is number 1. We have Bad Boys for Life at number 2, Bad Boys 2 at number 3, and Bad Boys 1 at number 4. So we have a perfect run, maybe for the first time ever in review history, of the ranking going.
4, 3, 2,
The
1.
newest one is first.
Wow.
And we're going back. Yeah. Pretty wild. Will there be a Bad Boys 5? You better fucking believe it. I feel like this is going to hit. I think it's going to work out well for them. That was, Memorial Day weekend just happened. There was the little like movies coming up, that little bad point we had with Furiosa and Garfield. Here we are.
Garfield's
We're back,
good.
baby.
What
We're
do you
back.
now? I know we're really long on this review, and I've had a great time with you guys. But can we speculate as to what they will call Bad Boys 5? Because I
great
love
question.
doing this.
Great question.
My prediction is Bad Boys 5. Nasty Mike returns.
Yeah, I don't know. The Bad Boys. Like I can
Yeah,
see them doing
maybe.
something
Yeah.
stupid. Like,
I could see that.
yeah,
Too
'Cause-
bad, two boys.
maybe not, but maybe.
What if it was
Miami
Bad Boys,
Drift.
Bad Boys, Bad Boys, Bad Boys, Bad Boys, like Beetlejuice,
Oh
Beetlejuice?
shit! Yeah, yeah.
Be fun.
Bad Boys Miami Heat.
Let us
Oh
know
wow!
in the
sick.
comments below what you think Bad Boys 5 is going to be called. If you're thinking about watching this movie or whatever else, Cameron Kennedy says Bad Boys 5, and honestly, that's probably the answer.
That's probably smart.
It's
Yeah.
probably the
Good job, Cam.
answer. Anyways, I love you all. We're not doing an interview next week. I know Inside Out 2 is what would be the thing that we should do. Summer Game Fest is happening. We're super busy, so will not be doing that. At some point, we will return to Pixar and review for all that stuff. But we love you. We'll be back soon. Goodbye.